Good morning and a very warm welcome to the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington for finals day of the 2021 National Intercentre Championships, and we are straight into semi-final action right now between Southland and Wellington in the men's National Intercentre. It is Craig Merrilees of Southland taking on Seamus Curtin of Wellington, two players who we are very much accustomed to at this level and beyond. Of course, both representative of sides in Bowls 3-5, Seamus Curtin with the Stokes Valley Vipers and Craig Merrilees with the Gore Rams. I'm Brenton Vannisselroy, alongside me is Kevin Hickland. Very good morning to you, Kevin.
Good morning, Brenton, and I'm sure we're going to have a fantastic day of bowls here today in this finals day of both the men's and women's Intercentre. Of course, three disciplines that make up the seven-man side. That are singles, pairs and fours. And we've got Southland playing Wellington, of course, in those three disciplines. And also alongside us, we have got Wairarapa up against Auckland. Wairarapa yesterday, the Giant Killers beating Manawatu. And in the women's, up on the top green, we've got Dunedin up against Canterbury and Nelson against Wellington. And we'll be getting updates of the women's scores throughout the morning. But our concentration, of course, as Brenton said, is on the singles match between Southland and Wellington, and Craig Merrilees up against Seamus Curtin, two of the leading players here in New Zealand. And it is Merrilees that has jumped out to an early start, leading 3-0 in the race to 25, not 21 is what we traditionally may have played. So ends again don't count, so first to 25.
Yeah, very much looking forward to this contest. We'll keep you up to date with the other two matches in the semi-final between Southland and Wellington. And if you are in the area, come on down. Both the Wellington men and women have made it through to the semi-finals. A chance of taking out the National Intercentre titles, and we'll no doubt appreciate your support. As Kevin mentioned, in the women's Intercentre, three South Island teams taking on the Wellington combination. The last of the North Island teams still standing, and we have three North Island teams in the men's, including that powerhouse Auckland side, taking on the Cinderella story of Wairarapa just over the Rematakas, and have done wonders to make it through to this stage, and now trying to pull off another major upset taking on Auckland. We'll keep you up to date with those scores and those from the green above us. It's a overcast morning here in Wellington. It's not too cold. Little wind coming across the green. For those who know the Wilton Bowling Club, we're on the bottom green, the Otari green, and slightly more sheltered than that at top as well. But not much wind to speak of, and rather pleasant conditions to start with. And hopefully the sun comes out, Kevin, and it'll get warmer as the day progresses.
I'm sure it will. And beautiful setting here at Wilton, Brenton, is it? We're like sitting in a park or reserve environment here with with natural bush all around us. You can hear the tuis as well and behind us here. So very nice part of Wellington where the Wilton Club is located. Just up, of course, up the hill from downtown Wellington, and three green club here in a lovely location. As we see, Seamus Curtin has drawn a touch-up with his second bowl, holding one on the forehand is Curtin, certainly one of the up-and-coming players in the New Zealand ranks. Breaks towards the head now, just going to wait to get all the way down to count, close to it, and sits on what is his shot bowl.
It should be enough for a second by the looks of our camera angle there. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. When I first moved to Wellington, I used to live just around the corner, and you get all the birds coming over from Zealandia, the wildlife sanctuary nearby here in Karori. So you often have kaka and keraru along with the tui as well, making a nice racket. But certainly adds to it. And you got Otari Wilton Bush here as well, right amongst and around the Wilton Bowling Club. It's another lovely spot for Wellingtonians.
So Merrilees trying to attack with weight as outside that target line, had to be down underneath his own bowl, which is 1.5 metres, 2 metres out, lower the jack. So two good shots here to Seamus Curtin. And well, certainly looks like 2, as Brendan said from our monitor. And Curtin will again draw up on the forehand, trying to add to that count.
Looking to really just emulate his previous bowl, maybe get an extra roll if he can. It looks like this is going to be underweight. That's not going to change the situation. So Craig Merrilley's handing over the mat to Seamus Curtin, who's bringing it right up. And he's going to have the jack as well. After getting on the board, wait to see the score being updated. It didn't look like 2, but he is on the board for the first time in the semi-final in the singles. Southland up against Wellington. I'll give you updates of the other 2 as well. I know Southland scored the first end in the pairs. That is Sheldon Baggery Howley skip side against Ray Martin. It was 2-0 after the first end. Of course, playing 18 ends in the pairs, 15 ends in the fours. And it was 2 confirmed for Seamus Curtin, so 3-2. Craig Merrilley's leading Seamus Curtin in the first 225 men's singles matchup in the National Intercentre semi-finals.
So the jack's been delivered by Seamus Curtin right to the 2 metre mark, and his first bowl right, coming up short of the jack by about a metre, and they're playing down towards it. So the town end here, Brenton, would that be from? They're playing away from us here in the commentary position.
Oh, my bearings get absolutely shot when I'm going around these hills. I wouldn't actually know. Even though I used to live around here, I wouldn't. All I know the hill, which is just to our right, to Ahumairangi, which I often used to walk around, beautiful spot. The other side of that is where the Prime Minister lives, and then Parliament's just below that. So I think, yeah, to say we're probably facing north at the moment, that would be pretty accurate.
So second bowl of Seamus Curtin just going to slip by, as you'll see the first bowler, opening bowler Craig Merrilley's at the mat quite a way up, and he's drawn right in behind on the 2 metre mark. Merrilley's, of course, also a very, very proficient player on the carpet as well, as part of the Professional Bowls Association. As we watch the second bowl now of Craig Merrilley's, breaking down towards the head, coming towards the centre line, and he's going to sit right on top of what is his own counting bowl. And that's 2 lovely shots from Merrilley. Seamus Curtin will really want to get something close with this is third bowl. The head at this stage certainly well in favour of Merrilley's, with 2 very, very well drawn bowls. Seamus Curtin's got certainly better green with this is third bowl. And how far is the weight going to go by? It looks to be on a good track as it comes down towards the head now. This is going to be close, just more than likely 2 bowls lower the jack, but certainly an improvement on what is first 2. Asking the marker what the story is of the and I think he said 1 and a measure. Is that what you thought from the green? There's a green microphone out there, and he...
Yeah, I didn't pick it up, but certainly seemed to be the hand gesture. Of course, alongside this Southland Wellington semi-final, we have Wairau Upper and Auckland. And I can tell you, Auckland's made a very fast start in all 3 disciplines. Jamie Hill in singles leading 7-2 in the race to 25. It's 8-0 to Auckland in the pairs, and 2-0 in the fours as well. So Auckland making a very strong start in their semi-final against the Cinderella story. Wairau Upper, still very early days, of course.
Certainly is, and of course, Brendan, the big thing in these, the way how this is played, is to get 2 match wins of the 3, and that ensures that you're going to win the rubber, so to speak. So it's either a 2-1 result or a 3-0 result. And Peter Bellis and I did work it out yesterday as well, because it nearly happened in the Wairau Upper Manawatu 2 game, where it was 1 apiece, and we were looking at the fours being tied, and
go to an extra end.
It goes to an extra end,
exactly.
if tied.
Yeah, it doesn't go back to a count back on shot differential or anything like that.
End.
Yeah, it goes to an extra end, which I think is the best way to sort it out. Sort it out on the green, rather than on count back for
So here's Curtin on the attack, looking for the jack or the bowl's got the jack clean and ran it into the ditch. You can see here where the Curtin bowl, the marker just going to chalk it now, and the jack in fact is just sitting alongside from the number. See the number 1 there, and
he's about to give a market. I think in fact just pulled out one of the Merrilies bowls. But well executed and applauded by his Wellington teammates on the rinks alongside. Big bowl in the early stages of the singles. And the singles, Wellington have done very well throughout this National Intercentre. 5 wins out of 6. Southland 4 wins out of 6. So expect a pretty tight battle there. Both fours, identical records. 4 wins and 2 losses. And the pairs is where Wellington have the edge so far at these National Intercentres. 5 wins out of 6, while the Southland pairs have had 3 wins out of 6.
As we just saw, the Craig Merrilies bowl just roll into the ditch, and Craig Merrilies indicated it was 1 to Seamus Curtin. And interesting, Brendan, the last time that Wellington won the Intercentre was played at Burnside, and Seamus Curtin, as a youngster, still going to school, in fact played the singles for Wellington and went through the whole Intercentre unbeaten.
Wow.
When Wellington won the Intercentre, and as a youngster, when he first hit the headlines, and went through the whole Intercentre unbeaten.
2018?
Yeah, that would be right.
Yeah. Defending champions, of course, Canterbury, who were knocked out rather surprisingly yesterday by this Southland side. Of course, defending champs from 2019. There was no National Intercentre because of COVID last year. Canterbury have been the dominant side of late. They also won in 2014 and 2017.
The big surprise yesterday in the Canterbury game was the one between Craig Merrilies and Andrew Kelly, and Craig Merrilies running out the winner by, I think it was 25 shots to 12 over the current blackjack player. It was a very convincing win, which set it up well for the side. And as Peter Bellis and I were talking about yesterday, playing this format, you're literally playing the big scoreboard as well, because singles traditionally gets completed first, and then you're watching those other boards, and it can and that's what happened yesterday. Put Southland, of course, in a very, very strong position, and then they went on to win the fours. And then they lost the pairs, but it just makes a difference if you can get, as Peter and I were saying, you get that first one under the belt. And it's
huge. It sets the tone, doesn't it, the singles?
It certainly does. And as we saw yesterday in the Wide Open Manawatu 2 game, the motivation it also gives to your teammates alongside you, who would try and strive you to get that other win when you've got that one win under the belt, just makes a big difference. Merrilies now on the mat, on the forehand, playing his second bowl, leading 3-2, holding the shot. As you'll see there, the jack sitting right on the 2 metre mark, and his bowl sitting just alongside it. And this is coming down towards the jack as well. He's going to get a trail on the jack, move it round the corner, and although it didn't add to the head count, just puts the jack in a more difficult position, really. Forces Seamus Curtin to come down on that forehand, having to just creep around that front bowl to try and get to his own shot bowl. Looks to be on the wide side. It's coming back now. Will it come back far enough? Just going to make it. Yes, it will. Well played by the Wellingtonian then. In fact, a back touch, you saw it on that sideline there. You saw the bowl just draw around past it and looked to be on the wide. It's a sign of a very good green, Brendan, when you see the bowl coming back as far as that bowl did then. Seamus Curtin's on the draw. So obviously, talking to the players yesterday, everyone's very happy with this green run, about 16 seconds, which means you can play all the shots on it. And certainly then we saw the evidence of that with that well-drawn bowl by Seamus Curtin. Yeah.
Marker indicating to Craig Merrilies he's now 1 down because of that Seamus Curtin bowl, and also indicating just how far away his bowl is from the jack, and also that Curtin bowl. Merrilies, and with his third, looking to respond on the forehand.
It's on a good line. How far is it going to come back with the weight? It's on the same line as the Seamus Curtin's bowl. This is close. Is it going to get the touch through onto the jack?
Oh, he's unfortunate there.
Desperately unlucky.
It's a very, very good bowl. It's been 3 good bowls in succession, 2 by Merrilees, 1 by Curtin, but Curtin, I think, still holding shot.
Could have very easily there squeezed its way onto the jack. That was a superb effort from the Southlander.
Now, what's Curtin doing here? Playing on the backhand. He's trying to get rid of that previous bowl of Merrilees.
Trying to face the Merrilees bowl out of the head and gets a touch and a roll on it.
In the end, it just rocks it. Rocks that Merrilees bowl. Shouldn't change the situation. Merrilees still with the bowl to play, of course. 3 apiece it is in this first to 25.
Well, the chance
singles matchup.
The chance for Craig Merrilees, sorry, Brenton, is if he follows that last bowl of Seamus Curtin and got a squeeze onto the jack or the shot bowl, there's a chance the jack could move out to the right-hand side there where there is a Craig Merrilees bowl sitting there. Remembering the jack's been moved off the 2 metre mark, so you know, it's really, really deep down on the green. He won't attack it with a lot of weight, that's for sure.
Taking his time on the mat. Wants to try and grab the momentum back early in this singles matchup. Jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Seamus Curtin has got the last 3, so 3 apiece now. Merrilees changing hands.
Trying to get that squeeze down onto there.
Not far away here.
Pretty close here. Which way is the jack going to go? Went with them. Well played.
Very well done. That should be 1 for Merrilees. Curtin hands over the mat as he realises halfway down that that's indeed the case. So Merrilees back in control of the mat and the jack. And it'll be 4-3 to Southland in this singles matchup in the National Intercentre semi-finals. I'll give you an update shortly when we can see a good view of the boards in the other 2 matches. Of course, we have the pairs and fours alongside in this men's semi-final. Also, in the other semi-final, playing on the Otari Green, Wairarapa and Auckland. Bring you up to date with theirs, and also women's action, which is on the green above us as well. Of course, we've got 3 South Island centres in action, and women's action above us. Dunedin playing Canterbury, and Nelson playing the host centre in Wellington.
In the Wairarapa Auckland game, I can tell you that Mike Galloway in the pairs is leading 8-1 after 3 ends, and Jamie Hill is leading Scott McKenzie 7-5 in the race to 25. I can't see
2-0 in the fours.
Can't quite see the board in the fours, but Auckland leading in 2 of the 3 in these early stages.
It's 2-0 in the fours, Kevin. Just the one end completed, so they might have had a killed end there. And hopefully be able to give you an update shortly. Looks like in the fours it is Southland leading Wellington 1-0 after 1 of the 15 ends in the fours. And we'll give you an update of the pairs shortly as we continue to bring you coverage of this singles matchup in this semi-final of the National Intercentre for men.
So Craig Merrilees, you see the jack's been delivered, and it's about a metre out from the 2 metre mark. He's played his first bowl, sits down behind the jack. Good opening bowl from Merrilees. The first bowl is Seamus Curtin, just nipped his green slightly, and you'll see sitting there by the marker's foot. So Merrilees persist on that backhand. He's certainly drawn a good opening bowl, and in singles, of course, getting that first bowl close is such an important part of the whole game management. And there's another good bowl here from Craig Merrilees as it breaks down towards the jack, towards the centre line, and of course in doing so just makes it much harder on the backhand now. Got to draw around the bowl, which Seamus Curtin will endeavour to do, draw past that front bowl of Craig Merrilees to get into that port between the 2 Craig Merrilees counting bowls. And just looks as though it's going to run under the centre line, and it will do. reasonably good weight, but just missed it to the green slightly. So Merrilies will try and build on this now.
So I can tell you, Southland are in fact up in all three of the matches in this men's semi-final. So 4-3 here in the singles, 4-2 in the pairs, and 1-0 in the fours. Of course, still very early stages and very tight. But Southland going well so far, looking to try and cause another upset, having taken down the defending champions Canterbury. Now trying to take on the host centre, take them down Wellington.
So Craig Merrity's bowl just finishes just jack level, slightly wider out than his previous two, and Seamus Curtin knows his draw line now is to be just inside that last bowl of Craig Merrily's, and he'll be close to, if not the shot, getting second shot. Will he sit on this, the bowl behind?
Oh, is it going to find the gap?
Just
finds the gap.
Tips the bowl over. So Merrily's definitely holding.
Oh, now there's just that one Seamus Curtin bowl in the area. If he gets rid of that, Merrily's, he can be holding 4. Of course, Curtin will have the final say on this end. This first to 25 singles contest. Merrily's taking his time over his final bowl.
And looks as he's going to change to the forehand. Endeavouring to get some cover on that other side of the head. Certainly controls the head at this point in time. And it's exactly, as I said, what he's endeavouring to do is getting down to this deeper part of the green. Seamus Curtin elects to attack, which, as Brendan said, I'd see it improbable, because if he was to dislodge his own bowl, Brendan, he's certainly 3 down for sure, and 2 was the indication there from the marker. I'm sure we're going to see Curtin endeavouring to get another bowl on the head, not going to risk trying to lose his own bowl because he's got nothing really close. This bowl as well looks as though it's going to dip away under that centre line.
It's not going to change the picture. So it'll be 2 to Merrily's. He'll extend his lead early in the singles contest. Yep, Curtin concedes 2, so 6-3 now. Craig Merrily's of Southland leading Seamus Curtin of Wellington in the singles contest. In the pairs, it's Southland leading 4-2, and in the fours, it's now 2-0. Southland leading. Have the Auckland Waited Upper semi-final taking place on this very green, the Tardy green as well, where we are commentating from. And in the pairs, it's Auckland leading 9-1 after 4 of the 18 ends. I think it's tightened up even closer in the singles.
7-6 to Auckland in race to 25. It's Jamie Hill versus Scott McKenzie. McKenzie yesterday was very, very polished performance in the game against Ross Ellery of the Manawatu 2 yesterday, as we see Merrily's, the Southland singles players, delivered, and certainly a shorter end than what we played the last 2 ends. As his bowl now breaks towards the jack. Another good opening bowl from Craig Merrily's. The big thing that Merrily's is able to do early on in this game is he's getting that first bowl close all the time, Brenton, and we've got a front toucher there, and that certainly just sets up the head well for you.
Yeah, Curtin's had to play a lot of catch up on ends, hasn't he? It's been Merrily's dictating terms, getting that first bowl close. More often than not.
Bolt now just going to pull up, lower the jack, and he just struggling to get that line and weight right, coming both ways at this point in time. As Curtin Merrily's, the Southlander, is very, very quickly judged the speed and line of the green and is getting the results accordingly.
Still early stages of these matchups, of course, first to 25 in the singles. It's 18 ends in the pairs and 15 ends in the fours. Auckland up in all 3 of their contests, as Southland up in all 3 of theirs, but certainly the singles has tightened up, 7-6. Kevin Hicklin mentioned earlier, Jamie Hill leading Scott McKenzie, but it was 7-2 moments ago. So it's been a good little fight back in the fours. Auckland leading 3-0 after 2 of the 15 ends.
So same as Curtin, certainly with a better green. This is second bowl, but is it going to have the weight to reach what is the shot, the counting bowl? No, it's not. And you will see the 2 bowls, the same as Curtin sitting there, both lower the jack, the charcoal bowls, and the blue bowls of Craig Merrill's. One sitting right on the jack, and the other one just jack high, just on the centre line. Merrill's will come down now on his forehand. And the good thing about the 25N format as well, Brenton, as Peter Bellis and I were talking about yesterday, if you are struggling a bit, it's a long enough game where, provided you're not dropping big bundles, where you can fight your way back into it. It's not 20. It's a wee bit different to 21, but that bowl now of Craig Murray is just finishing lower the jack, just cuts the vision and the weight line off a wee bit for Seamus Curtin.
Yeah, by the sounds of it, Auckland would have been pretty happy that it's 25.
Oh, absolutely. And
rather than 21
absolutely,
yesterday.
24-17.
Otherwise, they'll be out.
Absolutely. Close here is Curtin, just going to get a feather onto the jack. It moves it round the corner, just got a feather off his own bowl.
Curtin showing his class. The marker applies the spray as a toucher. Merrill's going to have a look at the head after the pitch has been changed by Seamus Curtin.
24-17, Bruce Winterburn was leading that game yesterday. He got a 4, in fact, to jump out to 24 against Jamie Hill, and was looking pretty good. And then Jamie Hill got a 3, playing down towards us here to go from 22 to 25. And the Bruce Winterburn last bowl, in fact, just went by the jack, just only but of a couple of centimetres. So Bruce Winterburn, of course, former runner-up in the New Zealand singles, got the runner-up to Peter Shane here of Auckland, and played at Hutt 1 year. So very, very good singles players, Bruce Winterburn. And yeah, as I said to Peter Bellis yesterday, Auckland really were in the semi-final by 1 shot. That was really what it came down to.
Yeah, because they lost the pairs, didn't they, Auckland, but won the fours. So that singles match was so important. And Jamie Hill pulling off a quite incredible comeback there, showing, of course, his quality. Jamie Hill, New Zealand player of recent times, taken time away from international play as well due to family commitments, but a player that you want in your side.
So Merrill's reaching up on that forehand, trying to reach through to the shot bowl. Sure, he's only 1 down. Is he going to hold up long enough? He'll get the front bowl. Will that get onto the jack? Yes, it will. His bowl moves past, and well, more than likely
it stayed up. You'd think that would be the shot bowl. The bowl that stayed up. And so now
on the angle, it looks like the shot bowl. The other bowl has gone into the ditch.
Didn't stay up.
So it's a 1-shot opportunity here, really, for Seamus Curtin. And he'll be happy if he can draw the shot here.
And you'd back him too as well.
Certainly he's got literally looking, he's got a couple of metres really to draw the shot. Playing up towards us here in the commentary position. The jack's moved down past the 2 metre mark, and lots of room. This very accomplished young singles player from Wellington. And he's out on his backhand.
As long as he doesn't get caught up in any of the short bowls, which he may do here. That Merrill's bowl could be.
It. Is he?
Just comes around, and how is it going to hold up?
Is it going to hold up? Is it going to go too far, Brendan? I think it's gone too far.
Yeah, I think it fell into the ditch.
It's out of our vision.
Just judging by the marker's reaction there. So now is it just 1 to Merrill's, is it? You'd think it's just that one. Yeah, it's kicked away. And you'd back that Curtin black pole to be second, or maybe not. They're going to have a measure here.
Definitely one
being taken.
Could be a bit of a
miss. It's from Curtin. If he drops a 2. Oh, it is 2. I think that's what we saw signalled by Curtin. So Could be 2 more to Merrilies. Certainly has the shot. We'll wait and see whether the board is updated by the marker.
Same as Curtin, be very disappointed with that bowl, really, Brendan, because
he's still shaking his head.
There's a lot of room to draw there. You had 2 metres in front and a metre behind. There was certainly plenty of room. He'd be disappointed with that.
He'd back himself, 99 times out of 100.
Absolutely.
To draw the shot there.
So you can see there on the camera, beautiful bush area in behind us here at the Wilton Club, and the whole around this area, this bottom green we're playing at, we're surrounded by native bush and sheltered, of course, from, well, not that there's any wind today at this point, but sheltered, and certainly beautiful spot here on the hills just behind the city of Wellington.
Confirming it was 2 on the previous end, so 8-3. 8-3. Craig Merrilies of Southland leading Seamus Curtin of Wellington in the singles matchup. We'll bring in an update on the scores from the pairs and the fours shortly as well, but previously Southland was leading all 3. I think that may have changed in the pairs, but we'll can only see half the board at the moment. Wellington now leading, in fact, 5-4 in the pairs, so Wellington have taken the lead in the pairs contest. That is Ray Martin and Adam Turner against Sheldon Baggery Howley and Elliot Mason. And
in the Auckland Wairarapa game, I can tell you that Auckland are leading 3-1 in the fours. That's a Gary Lawson skip side. Jamie Hill leading 9-7 in the singles in the race to 25. And Michael Galloway leading 11-1 in the pairs game right out in front of us here.
And we'll keep you up to date with what's happening on the top green as well. Alex Reid is our man who's going to be making us way around the boards. And I've got the 2 semi-finals on the top green for women. It's the all South Island affair. Dunedin taking on Canterbury and Nelson taking on the host centre in Wellington, who are trying to do it for the North Island.
Well, Wellington, pretty good side, the Wellington side.
Certainly are. Yeah, Claire Hendra on that side. Nicole Toomey. Sarah Tokomo, of course. So players who have won national titles of late and made it deep into national tournaments.
So Seamus Curtin, we've seen him now draw right in front of the jack, drawing the shot that'll give him some confidence. Merrilies now on the forehand. Seamus Curtin, the Wellington singles player, definitely holding one. You'll see the second shot of Merrilies sitting right on that centre line. Craig Merrilies trying to get to the jack, to the bowl of Seamus Curtin, not to be, just falls a couple of bowls jack low.
That's a good effort.
Curtin now certainly want to get another bowl on the head. The bowl did just see the shot bowl, just fell over, and the hand signals there from Seamus Curtin on delivery of that bowl. Didn't like it because he's wider out on that side of the ring. Bit of cover in there, didn't get enough weight to get to the blue bowls, and we may see Merrilies now just play with a yard of weight through that, what is this, second shot bowl to get a turn onto the shot bowl or the jack.
It's going to be hard to dislodge that shot bowl now, given it has fallen over. But yeah, there is an opportunity to try and promote that previous bowl Merrilies. As Curtin's made his way down to the head to see what his opposite can do before he plays his last, of course. A reminder, this is the first 225 matchup in the singles. In this men's semi-final, we have the pairs and the fours taking place alongside.
Merrilies can afford to play with a yard of weight reaching through the head. Use the bowl to get to what is the shot bowl. Playing on that, swoop down on that backhand, just what we spoke about, but it's certainly well under the line, and it won't do anything. I was surprised though, Brendan, with the amount of weight that he actually played, because I didn't think he would play with that amount of weight to endeavour to get that result. If he had have got that result, the jack, in fact, would have gone all the way back. I don't think it would have just dislodged the bowl or wouldn't just touch the jack. I think it would have gone back towards the... Well, more than likely would have been a killed end, I would say, if he'd made contact. So can Seamus Curtin add another? Definitely holding the shot. Trailing 8 shots to 3 is Seamus Curtin.
Staring intently at this one, following it down the green. Looks on a much better line. How is the weight? I don't think that's quite enough. Obviously, it's difficult to tell from our angle, but Merrilies will tell us. One's kicked away. Now, has it been enough? I think it may have been, you know.
May have been.
Well, Merrilies is about to update the scoreboard for us, so we'll know very soon. It was 2, so 8-5 it is now. Southland leading Wellington in the singles. And the pairs alongside. Southland reclaiming the lead, 7-5 after 6 of the 18 ends. And we'll bring you an update of the 4s shortly. There's a few players in the way of the scoreboard.
Now we'll see. Seamus Curtin lost the jack. He had moved the mat quite a distance up the green, but then delivered the jack and lost the jack at the ditch end. So Craig Merrilies now has the opportunity to dictate the length, and he's moved the mat back down towards the 2 metre mark, and I'm sure he'll stay on the length that he's been persisting with, which is really pretty short end on this 16-second green here at Wilton with no wind at all, so perfect conditions.
He's preferred these shorter length ends, hasn't he? Either by bringing the mat up or by delivering the jack nice and short. Let's see if he can capitalise on this Curtin after picking up a 2 on the previous end.
So the first
bowl, about
a
metre short.
Metre short. He wanted to endeavour to nail the jack with that first bowl, but you can see definitely a metre short on that backhand side. Merrilies will no doubt go to the forehand where it's clear, a clear draw to the jack. Got a metre to draw the shot. Looks on a fairly good track. How's the weight going to be? Is it going to get far enough? No, it doesn't. In fact, falls low of the Seamus Curtin bowl. And Curtin will force Curtin as well to go to his forehand, which he duly does, holding the shot. But one would assume, Winter, that's not going to be the shot after all the 8 bowls have played. There's plenty of room there. No,
given the calibre of these 2 players as well. We all know about Seamus Curtin, have known for several years, of course, a member of the Blackjack squad, and then you have Craig Merrilies, who's been very proficient PBA level, but in the last year or so has done very well in a number of national tournaments, most recently of course at the Somerset National Mixed Pairs down in Central Otago. We saw he and Claire Hendra make a good run into post-section play.
Just sits on the second bowl of Seamus Curtin and falls out of the counting area, so definitely Curtin, the Wellingtonian, holding. He's his 3rd bowl, certainly on a different line to the previous 2. How's the weight? How far is this going to run towards the jack and pass? It's going to sit just at jack level. Now, a bit of pressure on this head now with Merrilies. The main objective is here, get second shot, because at the moment he's a metre short and a metre over, so he needs to find that happy medium with his 3rd bowl. So on the forehand, playing up towards the commentary position here. He's certainly on a better line with this bowl. How's the weight? Is it going to sit on the Curtin bowl or sit outside it? Just sits outside to finish at jack level, but that'll be second shot for sure.
Oh, it cuts the count out. Might have been actually trailing 3 on the head before that, so important bowl from Merrilies to give him 1 close. While Curtin still holds, he's got a good second now. Curtin makes his way back to the mat to play his last of this end. Singles matchup in our men's semi-final we're featuring here on finals day of the 2021 National Intercentre. Sticking on the forehand side, looking to try and emulate his previous bowl if he can. If he can sit on the last Merrilies bowl, that would be ideal, but this is not going to have the weight.
The only option for Craig Merrilies here is to try and draw on that forehand. He's got half a metre to draw to the Seamus Curtin shot bowl, which is sitting jack level. So here is Merrilies playing his last bowl. And he's certainly on a wider arc with the bowl. How far is it going to come back? Is it going to sit inside the Curtin bowl? No, it won't. It's going to go outside.
So it should be one more to Seamus Curtin. 8-6 it'll now be in this race to 25. Singles matchup of our feature men's semi-final we are bringing to you. I'll let you know in the fours, Wellington have actually taken the lead. 3 ends completed, and it is Wellington leading Southland 4-2. And the last update we had for you in the pairs, it was Southland reclaiming the lead. And I think that's the case, 7-5, Southland leading the pairs. So leading 2 of the 3 contests so far, Southland. If they can hold on to that, they're going to be making their way through to the final to face either Wairoa Upper or Auckland. It is Auckland who are leading all 3 contests in the other semi-final. Singles is very close though. I think is it 10-9
to Jamie Hill.
3-1, the fours Auckland leading, and the pairs is still very much in Auckland's favour as well. A combination of
13-4s, I think, and I looked just quickly at the board a moment ago, Brendan, as we see.
Galloway and Grantham leading.
Merrilies.
Caffel.
This is where Merrilies is getting that first bowl effectiveness. Drawn another one right on, sitting right on top of the jack after the bowl of Seamus Curtin just came in low of the jack. So a good opening bowl from the Southland singles player forces Seamus Curtin to change his hand to endeavour to draw down to the jack. You'll see it there, just a couple of feet up from the 2 metre mark. And that second bowl of Seamus Curtin just sits outside the 2 metre line, came all the way back to the centre line, but Merrilies took that early advantage of the head with drawing it right on top of the jack. So again, Craig Merrilies on his backhand, just wanting to come past the front bowl of Seamus Curtin's and draw to that centre line, and if he gets to there, he'll draw a shot, and he's going to do just that. Finishes jack level. Now, Curtin, one would think now, may elect to play with a yard of weight, trying to play through the shot bowl to get movement onto the jack, because he has got a bowl sitting back there just beyond the 2 metre mark. Watching closely Seamus Curtin at this bowl, but that's going to be on the wide side too. And going by, it's the shot he was endeavouring to try and play, just to reach through that shot bowl to get some contact on the jack.
Just not the line.
So Seamus Curtin definitely 2 down. Craig Merrilies can safely draw away on that backhand, and he can literally draw a couple of feet in behind the head and would in fact still count as well.
Yeah, put all the pressure on Seamus Curtin with this last bowl to come. Merrilies takes a couple of steps down the green. I thought he was going to follow that down and make his way to the head, opts against it. And he looks to do exactly what Kevin Hicklin was mentioning, and that is a third. So holding 3 is Craig Merrilies for Southland. Now Seamus Curtin with his last.
Has to try and play with, you know, this is according to the dilemma, Brenton. You know, do you draw to save or try and play with that weight to get the result of contact with the shot bowl and move the jack? He's on a better line, and how's it going to come back all the way to the jack? He's certainly on a better line. It's not going to have the weight.
Doesn't have the weight. So he made the correction with the line, but didn't have the same weight that he had previously. So now Merrilees has a chance to turn this into a 4.
The point is,
to open up a 6-shot lead.
As Peter Bellis and I were talking about yesterday, there was the opportunity for Seamus Curtin to actually play with that yard of weight, because even if he wasn't going to get the shot, he had the opportunity of reduction through there as well. Trying to dead draw to the very, very difficult, and this is going to be 4 down here, I would say, safely 4 down.
Oh, another great ball from Merrilees, so great end for him. And he opens up that 6-shot advantage. 12-6 it is now. Craig Merrilees of Southland leading. Seamus Curtin of Wellington in the singles contest of this feature men's semi-final we're bringing to you for the 2021 National Intercentre here at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington. We're on the Watari green, the bottom green here at the Wilton Bowling Club in this picturesque park setting with Watari Wilton bush surrounding the Wilton Bowling Club here, and we're in a bit of a valley, so we're quite well sheltered from any wind, but there hasn't been too much wind in Wellington of late, and so it's not a factor. So coldish morning, overcast, but it's not going to be too uncomfortable for the players.
Craig Merrilees just sort of confirming the point, Brendan, the importance of that first bowl effectiveness, where he's been consistently drawing literally right on top of the jack with that first bowl, and it certainly does create, that first bowl effectiveness makes a big difference. As again, here comes the bowler. Merrilees going to sit right in behind the jack on the 2-metre line, on the centre line. And another good opening bowl from the Southland singles player. And Curtin now on the backhand.
Oh, it appears, I can tell you, is now all tied up. So a real tight contest going on between Sheldon Baggery Howley and Elliot Mason of Southland up against Ray Martin and Adam Turner of Wellington, 7 apiece, and in the 4s, Wellington leading 4-3 after 4 of the 15 ends. So it's 1 apiece and 1 level, so it could not be tighter in this semi-final taking place here, our feature semi-final. Auckland leading all 3 of the other contests in their semi-final against Wairarapa.
Well, there's no doubt, Brenton, that the Intercentre is, for the competitive players, it's certainly one of the highlights of the calendar for everybody, because all centres are here, and what a fairy tale story with Wairarapa, of course, making their way through to the semi-final. But all the centres are here. You're playing the 3 disciplines. It's certainly, it's the tribal, it's the Ranfurly Shield of bowls, and it's a major event to organise. Number of greens, of course, required, as we see this bowler Curtin's trying to get a touch on the jack. Desperately unlucky. He did touch the jack. It just ran by. As we see Merrilees again with more than likely holding 2 shots. And I'm picking out, we'll see a change of hand from... Oh, we're not going to see a change of hand. I would see Merrilees try and get some cover on that other side and still possibly count. But no, he's going to stay on that forehand where he's drawn 2 very good counting bowls.
You can see the scoreboard alongside that previous shot. There was the 7 all on the pairs after 7 of the 18 ends. And there's Merrilees. Oh, he's going to somewhat block up that backhand side for Curtin now. It looks like he's going to play it still on the forehand side.
Very unlucky with his last bowl not to get the jack clean. And he's just, this 3rd bowl, just going to come up short of the desired spot. And would be Merrilees holding.
Yeah, just lacked for a metre of weight there. The line, as you can see, right back to that centre line for Curtin. It was perfect, just lacked a bit of weight.
And in the Auckland Wairarapa game, I can tell you the Michael Galloway pairs side is leading 14-4. Gary Lawson is leading 3-2. And Jamie Hill in the singles is leading 13 shots to 10 in the race to 25. So Auckland with their noses in front in each of the 3 disciplines. We see this bowl of Craig Merrilees now here. It sits just higher the jack Now
Should be 3, you'd think.
the good thing for Seamus Curtin now, Brenton, is that there's a really good rest there now on that forehand draw side, and that's got to be his objective to get to that. Those second bowl of sitting out there, and that's exactly where he's coming to now. This is the going to sit on the bowl and draw a shot. He does. Well
wonderfully
played.
done by Curtin. Much needed after he dropped a 4 on the previous end. Miralise was holding, I think, at least 2, potentially 3. So Curtin to draw that with a final bowl of the end. Much needed for Wellington. So 12-7 it is now in the singles. Southland leading Wellington. Race to 25 here at the 2021 National Intercentre men's semi-final between Southland and Wellington. Our feature, we heard from Kevin Hicklin, Auckland leading all 3 boards in their semi-final. We have the women's National Intercentre semi-finals taking place on the green above us. Alex Reid is our man who's making his way around the boards, and he's messaged through an update. And Nelson Wellington contest, it is in the 4s, 4-2 to Nelson after 4, in the pairs 5-1 to Nelson after 4, and in the singles it's Wellington leading 8-6 in the first to 25. So Nelson leading 2 of the 3 contests. And in the Dunedin Canterbury semi-final, in the pairs it is Dunedin leading 9-2 after 7. In the singles it's 7 apiece. And in the 4s, it is Dunedin leading 7-1 after 4. So Dunedin leading 2 of the 3, with the other one level. So Dunedin looking very strong there against Canterbury, who you'd think would be one of the fancied sides. So Dunedin looking for a bit of a boil over there if they can knock over Canterbury.
Those early indications are very positive for Dunedin in that women's the women's semi-final, and the Wellington Nelson game, as we see Curtin just draw past the Miralise bowl right to the centre line on the 2 metre mark.
Of course, Dunedin beat Northland in their quarter-final yesterday. Canterbury beat North Harbour, and Nelson got the better of Bay of Plenty, and Wellington beat South Canterbury, who are another of the fairy tale stories to make it through to the last 8.
So here's Craig Miralise endeavouring to draw to the shot bowl of Curtin's. Have a look at this. If it falls over, desperately unlucky. In fact, drew a back toucher.
They might have moved it a touch closer to Seamus Curtin's bowl. Very unlucky there. Yeah, I think the market is indicating 1 to Curtin.
Just put, you saw there that market indicators, Brenton said, the shot to the Wellington player. As you see that beautiful bush in behind us here.
They're both going to follow this one down, because Miralise wants to know exactly what the situation is, what he can do.
Good attempt here from Seamus Curtin to make 2 of it. Great attempt. So what are the options here for Craig Miralise? Well, there's one option is to play down through that port to try and get a squeeze onto the 2 Curtin bowls to see the 2 charcoal bowls sitting there.
Play into his bowl, which is just short of those 2.
Play through those 2 bowls. And it's the slight advantage that he has with having his own bowl, the deepest bowl, which is sitting literally on the jack. Certainly not going to draw the shot. Not with the last bowl of Seamus Curtin's coming in there. It virtually takes that draw shot away. And you can see now as Miralise comes to the mat, the vision that he's got, the view that he's got down to where the Seamus Curtin bowl, which is shot. Taking his time is Miralise. And yes, he is coming to that forehand side that we spoke about, Brenton, trying to play through those 2 bowls, get the squeeze, split the 2 bowls. is that shot on the forehand that we spoke about, trying to get down through this narrowest of ports here, and it gets. Oh, he was
so close to being perfect, wasn't he?
Certainly was. He was only, well, not even half a bowl. He was only just a few centimetres away from getting that double split onto those bowls. And of course, there's blue bowl in front as well. So I'm sure he'll play that same shot again, because he was only but centimetres away of getting that forehand result.
So now Curtin, what will he look to do, knowing that Merrilees will look to play that shot with his final bowl? Try and get some cover in here.
You would think he would try and get to the deepest part of the rink, which is what he's endeavouring to do.
Looks like that will stay up.
And is going to sit up. You'll see it there sitting right under the number.
We can see looking, there we can see that with that shot, it's right at the back of the green. So he's achieved that goal of getting to the back.
I don't think that really changes the shot for...
No, it shouldn't.
No, for Craig Merrilees. You can still play... It's possible he can get the split and the jack actually not move very far at all. So, looks narrow though out of the hand, and was...
Yeah, doesn't like it straight away. That's not going to change the picture. So it should be 1 to Curtin. And he'll keep control of the mat and the jack. It is now Wellington leading Southland in the pairs, 8-7 after 8 of the 18 ends. And in the fours, Wellington leading 5-3 after 5 of the 15 ends. So Wellington now up in 2 of the 3. It's just the singles here, which is 12-8. Craig Merrilees leading Seamus Curtin. That Wellington are down in at the moment, but all very close.
And in the Auckland Wairarapa game, I can tell you in the fours, it's now all locked up 3-all. That's Gary Lawson up against Gary Muraway, 5 ends gone, and it is 3-all. In the singles, it is Jamie Hill who is leading by 13 shots to 12 in the race to 25. And in the pairs, it's Michael Galloway leading John Clayton by 17 shots to 4, as the skips are changing over now to play the 10th of 18 ends. So the pairs comfortable at this point for Auckland. The singles and the fours, anybody's game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I just want to hopefully whoever get that first point on the board will certainly be the more relaxed.
Certainly will be.
They only need to win 1 of the remaining 2, and at the moment it looks like the pairs might be the one which is completed first, the rate that they're going at. Still only halfway through that pairs contest, only 9 of the 18 ends completed, as Kevin Clint mentioned. Those are the other contests which are taking place on this Otari green here at the Wilton Bowling Club, the bottom green. And our feature semi-final is Southland Wellington, and in particular the singles contest between Craig Merrilees and Seamus Curtin. Curtin's first bowl of this end was a couple of metres past the jack on a good line, and Merrilees looking to get that one within a foot again. He's not far away. Good opening bowl from the Southlander.
He's certainly creating that first bowl effectiveness, and which I know Seamus Curtin will be trying desperately to just to get his first bowl close up, as he's looking to get to the jack here underneath the Merrilees bowl, and just draws right onto the jack, moves the jack off the centre line and rolls over in front of the jack. Very, very good bowl there from Seamus Curtin, and difficult to draw off from there, it's for sure.
It makes his first bowl even look better.
It certainly does.
Given that it's, at least it wasn't short. It's behind the head, right on that centre line. Curtin then draws a toucher with his second. Merrilees looking to find his way to a slightly difficult place just off that centre line. Gets a little rub on his first.
The big thing here is Seamus Curtin, who of course has scored on the last 2 ends. He'll move now to his backhand, but the last thing what we want to do is to give Craig Merrilees a shoulder to work off. He wants to be able to control the head and put the pressure on Craig Merrilies, where he has to draw the shot and not give him any opportunity to be able to use a bowl to attack, and he just goes by and will come back to the centre line by a metre and a bit. Won't count, still holding the shot for sure. And Craig Merrilies, sure, will go able to get to his backhand to try and... Difficult though, the way how the shot bowl's situated to turn it over. It's a very hard shot to turn that bowl over.
Merrilies just asking for a bit of information from the marker. Firstly, whether he was more than just the one down, and also how far away the shot bowl is from the jack.
So here is the Southland singles player. Endeavouring to draw down with weight, in fact, on that backhand, trying to get to the bowl of Seamus Curtin. And he certainly played that with a lot of weight. That wasn't reaching weight, that was right at it. And that's where I say that Curtin doesn't want to give him a bowl that he can, Craig Merrilies can use. Jack Low bowl would certainly create that opportunity, and this bowl is going to just sit by for Seamus Curtin. So will Craig Merrilies... Now, I wouldn't be playing that shot now if I was him, because he was to dislodge his own bowl sitting on the tip of that triangle there. Brendan, he could well be looking at 3 down if he was to be off target on the backhand and dislodge his own bowl.
I'll see if he does change his mind here. Playing his last of this end. Trailing on the head, but leading on the scoreboard.
Yeah, taking the more conservative
that weight
approach.
off. Looking to reach rather than full-blown drive. It's just going to come under the line. Nestle alongside on his previous.
It makes second shot, no doubt.
Should be second if there was any worry that maybe Curtin was holding two. It should just be the one. He flicks back the jack to the Wellingtonian, who will roll up for another end. It's 12-9 now. Craig Merrilies, Southland leading Seamus Curtin of Wellington in the singles. In the pairs, it's Wellington leading 8-7 after 8 ends.
So you see, Seamus Curtin's delivered the jack. The mat has been brought up quite a distance. The jack sitting just down below the 2 metre mark here at the Wilton Club. Terry Green running around 16 seconds. And it's a full length green, of course, 36.5 metres. So here is Curtin. It's a good opening bowl. Just going to sit to the 2 metre mark and behind the jack. That's what he's been looking for, to get that first bowl. And straight away, it puts the pressure onto your opponent after you've drawn close on top of the jack, which he's just done.
Fours is all locked up at 5 apiece now between Southland and Wellington. There is the Shane Elliott skip side against the Ben King skip Wellington quartet. So that means it's, at the moment, all square. And I think we might see a change in the pairs, just judging by a reaction we saw from Ray Martin previously on the rink alongside in the pairs contest, alongside the game we are streaming for you. And I'll bring you an update of that score very shortly. It was 8-7, Wellington leading Southland, but I think we might be either all locked up or Southland may have taken the lead in the pairs, as Merrilies just going to come under the line with his first effort.
So now Seamus Curtin start to draw up to that jack level bowl of Merrilies.
Indeed, we've just seen a shot of the scoreboard as previously, so it is now Southland and the pairs leading 9-8 after 9 of the 18 ends. So Southland now up in 2 of the contest, and one level, that being the fourth. So it's very, very close.
Very tight as second bowler, Seamus Curtins just finishes low of the jack, holding the shot with the bowl right on the 2 metre mark. The jack just in front of it. Craig Mealy's on his forehand will try and play down to that shot bowl and dislodge it, or the jack just going to go by with a yard of weight. Was certainly, he was in the target area. Seamus Curtin want to endeavour to get him behind the head there, where he can still count on that backhand side, but just give himself some cover for that trail shot, which is apparent that Craig Mealy's is going to endeavour to play, and that's exactly what Curtin has done. He's come back towards the 2 metre mark, and that's a good home there. Sits right on the line for that trail or sit shot that Craig Mealy's is endeavouring to play. Of course, the careful thing here for Mealy's now, he doesn't want to have a yard too much weight and turn his own bowl out of the head after that last bowl that came in from Seamus Curtin, so one would expect less weight to be played here from Mealy's, and that is the case. Trying to get down to the shot bowl. He's close to the shot bowl and the jack, very close to the shot bowl here. In fact, draws a front toucher.
Just fell out now. Has he got the shot or not?
And I think Craig
Mealy's finger went down. Unfortunate. Another great bowl. That's twice now he's got touches, and then his bowler's either rolled out, or the other bowlers, or the jacks moved closer to his opponents, that being one of Curtin's bowls. So great effort. Unfortunate not to grab the shot, but certainly as it stands, it's going to make it very difficult for anything but a one.
This Curtin is confident that he can draw through, trying to get a touch on the jack possibly. But no, he's playing what I would call the rightful conservative approach, knowing that he's holding the shot. And of course he has scored on the last 3 ends. Now that bowl is slid under the head, and that tightens the line-up for Craig Mealy's, and because he can't really attack it, Brennan, with too much weight, because he's got no back bowls. But of course his bowl, the second shot, is in fact a toucher, and there is a back bowl, so my apologies. Is that I thought it had gone into the ditch, but no, it's sitting right back.
Yeah, it's right at the end of the green, isn't it?
Just by the number, so he can actually attack that with some weight now, with having that back bowl there for sure, and his bowl being a toucher as well. So Mealy's can play with reaching weight. So Mealy's will reach down. I can tell you, it is in the Auckland game. It is now Wairarapa leading the fours, 4-3, and in the singles, the Jamie Hill match, it is all locked up at 15 all, and Michael Galloway leading 17-5. As we watch this bowl of Mealy's, it's going to be right under the head, and
one more to Seamus Curtin, so 12-10 now. So after dropping a 4, Seamus Curtin to go behind by 6. He's now just 2 down. Of course, this first to 25 singles matchup. One of the 3 contests which make up the semi-final between South and Wellington. And as Kevin Hickler mentioned just moments ago, we have Auckland and Wairarapa in action in a semi-final also on the Otari Green, the bottom green here at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington. It's an overcast day, but very little wind.
One of the interesting things, Brennan, about the Wairarapa side in the fours, Gavin Hamlin, who is leading for Gary Murawai, in fact, has only been playing 3 months. And
yeah, when you told me that before we started the stream today, that's incredible. And you were saying that you and Peter Bellis are very impressed with how well he played, and he may have been the best performed player in the four.
In the latter stages of the game yesterday, the Manawatu in the fours, when the last end got killed, I think 3 times, but each time it was Gavin Hamlin's bowls who were definitely was doing the damage off the front for sure. He outled his opponent, the Manawatu lead, and of course his first game for Wairarapa was in fact on Thursday morning when section play got underway here at the Intercentre. Had never played before for Wairarapa. First game is in the Intercentre finals. Professional golfer as well, so obviously he's got the brain, he's got the up top thinking to be able to hold himself together, and he certainly did that well yesterday. And of course they're having a tight tussle right now, of course, against the very strong Auckland fours combination. And the pairs are well up for Auckland, but the singles, as I look at, 15 all and right in front of us, and it's Wairarapa who are holding the shots again on the head here, holding 2 shots. So.
Yeah, who knows? It was looking all Auckland early doors, wasn't it? When the singles was going Jamie Hill's way, the pairs were still going Auckland's way, and they were leading in the fours, but Wairarapa tightened things up in the singles. We're all level, and they're now leading in the fours. So that semi-final, just as tight as this one, which is our feature semi-final between Southland and Wellington.
Scott McKenzie was very, very impressive yesterday, the Wairarapa singles player. See Jamie Hill way off of the drive. He was very, very impressive yesterday and in his game against the Manawatu. As we see now at 12-8 to Craig, 12-10 to Craig Merrilies, and holding the shot. In fact, holding 2 will Merrilies be. Sits just lower the jack, right on the. You can see the jack just beyond the 2 metre mark. Curtin, 2 really wayward bowls from his. He would class as wayward bowls, and was going to try and reach the jack now. Opportunity to get to the jack or the shot bowls goes by.
He missed the previous bowl of Merrilies, so now Merrilies a chance to piling up more pressure here. If he can get one in behind the head. Might even start to look for cover now, knowing that the likelihood that Curtin will play with weight again with his final bowl.
So here's Craig Merrilies' bowl, leading 12-10, and he's going to get behind, but will still count, Brendan, because it comes right back to that 3 down.
Yeah, it's more than just cover. That's a great bowl from Craig Merrilies.
Shot itself, literally. And Curtin's really got no other option but to reach through on his backhand, which he's endeavouring to do. Definitely 3 down. Trying to get to the jack or the shot bowl. Gets to the jack, got the shot bowl.
Killed it.
And it will kill that end.
First kill of this singles matchup. So we have another go at this end.
So it was the last Intercentre event we held, which was in Auckland. It was because of the COVID. There was no Intercentre last year, which was to have been played here in Wellington, and Wilton was to be the headquarters. That, of course, was taken off the Bolt New Zealand calendar. And the defending champions in the women from the last were Auckland, who didn't make their way, didn't get through to.
Yeah, that was a huge surprise, wasn't it? Section play.
They missed out on section play, and of course the men, the defending champions were Canterbury, who of course exited yesterday. So neither of the defending champions, men and women, are here today at the semi-final and final stage.
Yeah, we'll have to look back in the record books the last time either Southland or Wairarapa won these. Have either won it before?
No, Wairarapa have never qualified before.
They've never qualified before?
They've never ever qualified. Wow. So yesterday was their first time that they've ever.
Now they're in the semi-final, and they're a good chance of making the final.
I can tell you something interesting. Yesterday afternoon I was talking to the manager of the Wairarapa side, and they in fact were heading back over the hill last night back to the Wairarapa because they hadn't booked any accommodation for Saturday night. They didn't.
Well, at least it's depending where you are on Wairarapa, it might only be an hour away.
Correct. So they had to scurry back across the hill last night.
Over the Rematakas.
There was no accommodation for them. So here now, Seamus Curtin got that first bowl right in front of the jack. Jack low, just sits right on the centre line after he, with his last bowl on that previous end, was 3 down and killed the end.
pairs. 11-9. Wellington now leading Southland, so that contest is very much to and fro. One end Southland's leading, then Wellington's leading. Fours board is currently obstructed, but Wellington were leading that contest previously. Who will be the first to get a point on the board?
Both of these games,
that first
now,
point is so important.
Both of these games now could go as any way, as we see. Not quite getting that toucher. Two bowls sitting right on the jack. Craig Merrilies will endeavour to play on his forehand to reach up to these two shot bowls. Two very good opening bowls from the Wellington singles player, trailing 12-10 in this race to 25, and he's going to come towards the 2 metre mark. And this is another great attempt from Merrilies.
Oh, that may be shot this time. His luck may have turned. Marker just giving an indication now to show, and certainly when that's fallen out, I think that's made it clear that Merrilies' hold shot.
The bowls are certainly, as you can see, Brendan, they're certainly getting a really good draw at the finish, aren't they? Which highlights the green is the green is a very, very good green, because the bowls are coming back all the way to that centre line. So here's Seamus Curtin trying to reach down to the Craig Merrilies' bowl. Is he going to get to the bowl itself? He's close to getting the result. In fact, moved the jack backwards, and close measure was the call I heard there from the from the marker. And there's another look at it as the marker.
Yeah, from our angle, certainly we favour that Merrilies bowl, but the marker able to get right over the head and see for sure. So I think it's a measure.
So the jack did move slightly, but still favour the Merrilies bowl. As I said, the marker said tight measure. But from Seamus Curtin's point of view, up or down doesn't really matter, because he's got a good scoring opportunity on this head. As Merrilies is going to be under the head now. You can see there the bowl of Craig Merrilies sitting just high the jack now. Just if the bowl in fact is turned at just past the 2 metre mark, which is only a couple of roll of the bowls, then that would see Seamus Curtin with 4 shots. And I'm sure he will, there's no danger at all. I'm sure he will endeavour to reach that shot bowl, the measure bowl. The marker indicated it was a tight measure. Seamus Curtin, see a bit of breeze there.
Yeah, the wind has picked up, hasn't it, in the last 15 minutes or so.
He'll certainly endeavour to reach down on that forehand to that measure bowl of Craig Merrilies. Looks to be under the line though on the way down, and it is. And Craig Merrilies will breathe a sigh of relief, because if he's got the shot, he may not even play his bowl. We'll know in a moment. He's having a good look at it. He's going back to the mat.
Yeah, it suggests either he doesn't have shot or he doesn't know. Exactly. Which I think it's probably
the latter actually.
Yeah.
So we'll see by the way that Craig Merrilies plays this bowl of, we'll give an indication. He certainly can't play with weight and move his bowl, because that would certainly go in favour of Seamus Curtin. So here is Craig Merrilies, sunglasses on top of the head, on his forehand, and he's just on the draw for sure. And that too is going to come up short.
So I think Merrilies was going to grab the mat. So I think he thinks he's got shot.
So out comes the measure straight away.
But Curtin wasn't quite willing to give it to him. No. Let's get the measure out and see who's actually got shot. Calipers out to try and decide this one. Going to Merrilies' bowl first.
Jamie Hill has just picked up a 3 for Auckland in that singles, which takes him to a lead of 2017 to Jamie Hill in the singles. It's Auckland v Wairarapa.
Yeah, Auckland leading in the pairs 17-6. And it's pretty close in the fours, as it has been throughout in that contest. Oh, it is Seamus Curtin who has the shot. So Merrilies was relatively confident. It seemed to be that he was going to grab the mat. He thought he had the shot, but the measure, both of them did the measure, and it was Curtin. So another single to the Wellingtonian, and it's 12-11 now. Southland leading Wellington in the singles. It's 11 apiece in the pairs. And we'll bring you an update shortly in the fours, which has been very tight throughout, but 11 apiece in the pairs. That is the contest between Sheldon Baggery-Howley and Elliot Mason of Southland up against Ray Martin and Adam Turner of Wellington. And the fours, Southland leading after 8 of the 15 ends, so just over halfway through, 8-5 Southland leading. So Southland leading in 2, level in 1, but all very, very close. And Wellington,
great opening bowl here from Seamus Curtin, sitting right on top of the jack. 5 consecutive singles we've seen Seamus Curtin score. You know, he dropped that 4 to take Merrilies out to a 12-6 lead, and now we've seen 5 successful singles from Seamus Curtin to be at 12-11, and draws right down in front of the jack as he watches bowler Craig Merrilies just go by. And as Brenton and I spoke about earlier in this commentary, it's about that first bowl effectiveness which creates the pressure right throughout. And the last 3 ends especially, Seamus Curtin has been able to do that, and thus scoring, although only singles, but just been able to control the head a bit more. And he's certainly opened with a very, very good bowl here right in front of the jack.
Yeah, mentioning about Wellington will believe they're a chance to turn the tables in all 3 of their matches. Of course, one of them currently level, but all 3 they won against Dunedin in their quarter-final, but they're all incredibly close. Only, I think the biggest margin was 5 shots. 2 shots in the singles, 4 shots in the pairs, and 5 shots in the fours. So
because what happened,
they can grind out those games.
In that quarter-final yesterday, the singles game was not completed because the pairs and fours result had already been decided, and at that point it was Seamus Curtin, I think it was leading 24-22, I think it was.
Yes.
So they didn't complete the singles encounter because the result had already been determined, as we see Seamus Curtin holding the shot right on top of the jack, and the 2 Craig Merrilies bowls have actually skipped under the head slightly. Now Curtin going for cover. You'll see those 2 bowls of Craig Merrilies, and that's ideally where Seamus Curtin would like to get some cover, but in fact falls lower the jack, and not really many shot options open for the Southlander, and he'll go to the forehand. And we have seen, though, on a number of occasions when the jack and bowl have been really close, he's been able to reach up and get into the, certainly capable of drawing the shot down there, to drawing the jack off. This is breaking towards the jack now. Certainly the weight to dislodge it, but just going to go by.
Fair attempt, and not far away at all. Almost the perfect line. A shake of the head. Merrilies, as he tries to turn this momentum in his favour. As Kevin mentioned moments ago, Curtin has scored 5 straight ends now to claw back at the deficit, which was 6 and now just 1.
And Curtin here obviously trying to get the deepest bowl
it's going to go
on
the
the
ditch,
ring.
though.
Goes to the ditch because the trail here.
Yeah, that's the issue, and he identified that because all the deep bowls are all Merrilies.
See 3 blue bowls there of Craig Merrilies, and any movement of the jack by about a foot to 18 inches would certainly result in a 3-shot advantage. And of course, Seamus Curtin has played his 4 bowls, so here's the door slightly ajar. Hard shot for Merrilies to reach down to the shot bowl or the jack. Coming down towards the head now. Is it going to hold up long enough to get to the jack? This is a great attempt, Brenton. I can assure you this is a great attempt.
Terribly unlucky again. This time he hangs his head up because that's at least 3 times where he's played, you'd think, the perfect bowl, but the roll has not gone his way. Every time it's gone Curtin's way. So we are all tied up now, 12 apiece in the singles contest in the feature men's semi-final of these 2021 National Intercentre Championships here at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington. I'm bringing updates of the other 2 contests, the pairs and the fours, shortly.
I can tell you in the Auckland Wairarapa game, Jamie Hill now has jumped to a 22-17 lead, 22-17 over his opponent of Scott McKenzie of the Wairarapa, and Mike Galloway has got a pretty good lead in the pairs for Auckland over John Clayton, and the fours, Gary Murawai and Gary Lawson. It's Murawai leading 1 shot, so we see Curtin, and this is about this first bowl effectiveness, Brenton, and it just can't stress enough how important it is, especially in singles. Get that first bowl there, and by goodness, it's certainly all of a sudden, you know, we'd seen before Craig Merrilies was getting that first bowl constantly on top of the jack. Now we're seeing Seamus Curtin, but a good response here from Merrilies, just going to fall lower the jack. But we've seen 3 ends in a row now where Merrilies has done everything except get the shot with his last bowl, moved the jack on 2 occasions, but not going his way. Curtin now all locked up, 12 all, holding the shot. See the jack sitting there on the 2 metre mark. There's just bowler Seamus Curtin's now just breaking towards it. Needs to finish in front on the centre line of the Merrilies bowl, and does. And there's that control of the head that we're talking about, Brenton, that just all of a sudden things just can change so quickly.
Yeah, 12 apiece here. It's 11 apiece in the pairs alongside. Got a bowl to play on the 12th end of 18. You can see just left of screen there, Ray Martin looking over the head, the skip of the Wellington pair, and Southland leading in the fours 8-5. So level in 2. Southland with a slender lead in the fours. So still very much wide open in this feature semi-final we're bringing to you here at the National Intercentre Championships.
See the Craig Merrilies second bowl, bit of breeze just coming through, finished lower the jack, and it's definitely Seamus Curtin. I'd say we're holding 2, definitely trying to get out on that wider side just to get back to the centre line, but behind the head, doesn't want to give Merrilies a shoulder, and just tightens that line up fractionally now. Craig Merrilies to draw through that under that front bowl of Seamus Curtin's, gives him a clear line then down to the jack.
Got another update from around the boards from the top green in the women's semi-finals of the 2021 National Intercentre. Nelson against Wellington in the fours. Nelson leading 7-5 after 8 of the 15 ends. In the pairs, it's Wellington who are leading 6-5 after 8 of the 18 ends. And in the singles, Wellington also leading 15-12 over Nelson. And of course, that first 2-25 matchup. In the other semi-final, it is Dunedin and the pairs leading Canterbury 14-7 after 10 of the 18 ends. Canterbury are leading 12-9 in the singles in that first 25, and the fours, Dunedin, also leading Canterbury 7-6 after 6 of the 15 ends. So Dunedin looking to cause a bit of a boil over there against the fancied Canterbury side.
Well, very strong Canterbury side. You know, Taylor Bruce, Mandy Boyd in that side,
Sandra Keith.
So,
yeah.
You know, very, very good side as Seamus Curtin now delivers his last bowl, holding 2, 12 all. And he'll be happy to come past the head, which he duly does, because we did see Craig Merrilies was his third endeavour to attack down on that forehand side. He wants to be very careful here attacking on that forehand, because if he's under that line and gets his own bowl clean out of the head, needs to be playing it with, if you're going to do that, needs to play it with a lot more weight. Here he is on the forehand. trying to play that split to the front bowls. Or does it get to his own? He's close to getting his own bowl here. Is it going to work in his favour?
Oh,
yes,
this time it does. The luck turns. Another brilliant bowl from Merrilees, and this time he collects the jack and grabs the mat because he has stopped the momentum swing here, which was 6 straight ends. Just singles, but 6 straight ends going to Seamus Curtin to tie up the game. Now Merrilees with a single. He leads 13-12 in his first 225 singles matchup.
Certainly played with what I would call conservative weight. Then did Craig Merrilees. Just played up to his front. Because this third bowl, he had really attacked the hit with a lot of weight. And as he said, if he played that weight again and dislodged his own bowl, he was looking at trouble. So he just elected to play slightly over the draw, got his own bowl. And after going through some misfortune earlier ends, he got the desired result.
So Southland now leading, in fact, all 3 contests, because in the pairs they lead 12-11 after 12 of the 18 ends, and in the fours they lead 9-5 after 9 of the 15 ends. So shows how tight it is. Just one end can make such a big difference. Southland winning the last 2 ends in the singles and the pairs to now lead all 3 contests.
So Craig Merrilees, good opening bowl, just finishes low the jack right in front of it. So here's now Seamus Curtin endeavouring to draw down to that. What is the shot bowl? Sits on the bowl and will still leave Craig Merrilees holding the shot at jack level. So here now, Craig Merrilees again on the backhand. Just trying to draw inside the Seamus Curtin bowl to make another counter. And he's going to come under the centre lines. He's going to get the jack. Gets the jack, moves it around the corner to his own in line with his first bowl. Would definitely be laying 2 shots. Curtin. Seamus Curtin from the Stokes Valley Club was part of the Stokes Valley Vipers in the bowls 3-5. On his backhand, how's the weight as it comes down towards the shot bowl, and the jack just going to sit behind the jack, falls in, not out. And great response, and it's 1 to Southland, 1 to Craig Merrilees, as indicated by the marker. Sure, Brennan will see Merrilees endeavour to play down that line. If you can just turn the Seamus Curtin bowl over once, twice, you can certainly make 2 or 3 of it.
He'll follow this one down, Merrilees. Looks on a pretty decent line. Just has it got the weight? Edging it on there, Merrilees.
Well, it leaves Seamus Curtin really with minimal shot options, just to, with being one down, can't afford to attack it, and really just the draw to try and get down on that backhand side to the shot bowl or the jack. He's going to come up under that line just like we saw from Craig Merrilees. Wasn't far away with weight. (17-11) Auckland lead. Mike Galloway leads John Clayton in the pairs 17-11 after 13 ends. And in the singles, it is Jamie Hill of Auckland who is leading Scott McKenzie now by 23 shots to 18. And the fours, it is 5-4 to the Wairarapa after 8 ends. So getting down the board now in that singles game for the Auckland Wairarapa game. 13-12. Southland leading in this singles game as Craig Merrilees trying to add to the count. Certainly out on a wider line. Needs to be under the Seamus Curtin bowl. Had good weight, had really good weight to count, but just on that wider side.
You can see it's got a touch colder because Curtin's got the jacket back on. He had taken it off. A bit of wind's picked up, although it seems to have died again as we speak. Certainly not big gusts or anything like that. We'd barely call them a zephyr in Wellington. The winds was
it's, and we are up on the hills as well. We're not down on the.
Well, we are back on the valley on the other side of the hill.
Valley.
Yeah.
There's Curtin trying to play with weight through the port to get to the shot bowl. Or that is fortuitous, was actually slightly off target, got through the bowls and rolled the Craig Murley's bowl out, and would be laying the shot, I would say.
I think it's at least one, whether it's second, but certainly just a one by the look of our pitcher. And that's the bowl that Seamus Curtin play first after he rolls the jack, so we should be all tied up, 13 apiece once more in this quite fascinating singles matchup here in the men's semi-final that we're featuring for you of these 2021 National Intercentre Championships at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington.
Interesting, Brendan, looking at Auckland Fours result over there, just about all singles, obviously. ADN's gone 5-4. So
I was going to say, when you mentioned the score before, there's been, 1-2.
Yeah,
other than that, it's just been singles on every end. So obviously very, very tight contest and low-scoring one. And our feature semi-final, it's not too different, 9-5 after 9 ends, so relatively low-scoring. Southland leading in the fours. It's 12-11 in the pairs. Southland leading as well. So Southland now leading 2 of the contests, and our singles match is level at 13 apiece.
See the first bowl, Seamus Curtin's finishes right on the centre line, just in behind the jack. Good opening bowl from the Wellington player. Craig Merrilley's his response also right on the centre line, just lower the jack, and that'll be shot. You see the bluey bowl, like the bluey light coloured bowl of Craig Merrilley's. Here's Seamus Curtin quickly into his work. Certainly on a good arc to the jack. How far is it going to come back? Coming back all the way now. Brendan sits on the centre line. He'll make shot of it, I would say. Falls in. Still on the move.
Eventually, it may fall in.
Just looking, and it is the shot bowl. That last bowl is Seamus Curtin's. It just came in behind the head.
Indicated by the marker on our live streaming rink here. You can see those little white marks that are either side of the head as well to hopefully make your viewing experience better. A bit of a guide for where the players, there we go, just right and left of screen, just past the 2 metre mark, those white chalk marks, to try and give a guide of where the players can stand when they're around the head.
From Craig Merrilley. He's going to sit inside the Seamus Curtin bowl, falls over. That'll make shot now. You'll see Seamus Curtin following that line. If he's fortunate enough to get a touch on the jack, it's all in his favour. So here is Curtin again now on the forehand. Doesn't like it. The old rag got the heave-ho. You can see the shot that he was endeavouring to play to try and reach down to the shot bowl or the jack. Nice little nest of 3 bowls sitting there. And Craig Merrilley's now may well to try and get some cover on that trail shot, which is open for Seamus Curtin, which I'm sure he'll be endeavouring to play. Craig Merrilley's now Southland player on his forehand, and he's certainly got it out on that wider side that we spoke about, Brendan, trying to get down to these charcoal bowls of Seamus Curtin's, and that he does. But if Curtin does get a trail on the jack, doesn't really make a great deal of difference. That bowl's still a great chance there for Curtin just to wouldn't be worried too much about that front bowl. Just go back with confidence, knowing you're going to draw down there to try, endeavour to get a touch on the jack, and all in your favour.
breed them tough, obviously, in Southland. Never has Merrilees considered putting the jacket on. T-shirt, whole game. Curtin started with the jacket, took it off when he warmed up a bit, but then sleep felt it was cooling down once more, so jacket back on. Merrilees has been constant.
So can Seamus Curtin on that forehand reach the shot bowl? The jack, just get a touch on the jack, only got to be moved a few inches, doesn't have to have a big movement on it. Going to go by though with weight, and does. Nice nest of 4 balls there, but
certainly
they don't matter now because he's played his 4, and it's definitely Craig Merrilees who was holding the shot, and he's putting the quick measure on to see whether he's got 1 or 2.
And what he certainly doesn't want to do is move the jack.
No, he certainly does not. He's got to stay on that wider side.
So I want to try and turn this into a couple if he can. In that great run of singles, the last time was what, about 8 ends ago that we, might have been 9 ends ago, that we had more than a 1 scored.
Now. So Craig Merrilees now play down on his forehand. As Brendan said, he doesn't want to move the jack because those bowls, clearly see the 4 bowls there, the Wellingtonians bowls just sitting on the other side of the centre line, and Merrilees has got the bowl out on the wider side, the safer side, that's for sure.
And it's not going to change the situation, so there'll be 1 to Merrilees. He reclaims the lead. I think it's just the 1, but players will make their way to the head to make sure. 1 taken away. Merrilees will have another look over. Certainly the marker had favoured the McElroy bowl previously. Yeah, it looks like it is just the 1. So 14-13 now. Craig Merrilees of Southland leading Seamus Curtin of Wellington in the singles rubber. You have the pairs and the 4s alongside. I think we may have seen a change in the pairs. It looks like Ray Martin and Adam Turner, Wellington pairing, may have taken the lead against Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Elliot Mason, and what's been a very, very tight contest throughout. And in the 4s, Southland now leading 10-5. And it's the Shane Elliott skipped Southland 4. Brian Harvey, Steve Sanders and Craig Tinker leading Ben King, Finbar McGuigan, Caleb Hope and Robbie Bird 10-5 after 10 ends.
So Craig Merrilees, jack's been delivered down towards the, we'll call it this, the Parliament end, literally, somewhere.
Yeah, I'd say he's playing probably to the northern end. I think Parliament's maybe more to the left of screen from there. So and maybe where we're broadcasting from, maybe there's more the Karori end, I'd possibly say.
Good opening bowl from Craig Merrilees.
As a kaka just flies overhead. Wonderful bird life you do get here in Wilton because of Zealandia just down the road.
And the bowl of Seamus Curtin just finishes low of the jack. In the 4s match, Wairarapa versus Auckland, it is now 7-4 to Wairarapa. 7-4 after 9. Jamie Hill leading, I think now 23-20 in the race to 25, and Michael Galloway leading 19-11 after 14. So certainly it's not Auckland's way yet, that's for sure. I'm just seeing that scoreboard changing, and it is 23-21, in fact it is. So
that's in the singles. Going the way still of Auckland, but very close. The pairs have changed in our semi-final. Now Wellington leading 15-12 after 13 of the 18 ends. So that's Ray Martin and Adam Turner now leading Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Elliot Mason. So Wellington leading that, but they're down in the other 2. So as it stands at the moment, Southland through and Auckland are through, but there's a lot that will change, no doubt, over the next hour and a half or so.
Well, Craig Merrilees here holding 2 shots. leading 14-13. The two bowls of Seamus Curtin finished lower. The Jack, a toucher here from Merrilies. Sits right alongside the Jack. That's 3 shots.
Yeah, it's always whoever gets that first bowl effectiveness, as we talk about, or gets that first bowl on the Jack, which dictates the terms.
Oh, Seamus Curtin's going to be
He
under
doesn't
the
like that
line
one.
here.
Turned his back. He was following it down, then realised halfway down that that is not what he wanted.
The big thing here now for Seamus Curtin, really, Brenton, he's come back from that 12-6 deficit to get right up into the game. The last thing he wants to do now is drop a number and virtually get 14-13 now, drops a 4. It's about sort of minimising the damage, really. So Merrilies endeavouring to add another bowl to the head, certainly holding 3 shots.
Yeah, in a very strong position here, especially with all Curtin's bowls short.
So he can draw confidently down to where his counting bowls are, and he's going to do just that, just to get in front of this bowl, and does, and sits right on the centre line.
That'll be 4.
This is a difficult head to play at for Seamus Curtin. Do you drive to get a result, try and get reduction?
I think it's just about reduction, but even then you have to play a pretty good bowl just to reduce it to 2, don't you?
It's all a 1 bowl target. Holding 4 is Craig Merrilies. As we watch this bowl of Seamus Curtin's trying to draw to reduce the damage, and he may just do that. It may only be we'll see, may only be the 2 now, Brendan, because he fell in front of that last bowl of...
Yeah, which we think was the second shot. Just whether that Jack level bowl just out to the left is better than that previous Curtin bowl, so they take 2 away.
It could still be 3.
Exactly right. Wow.
We'll see in a moment. Definitely 2.
Certainly will. Curtin will make his way to the scoreboard to update it, because Craig Merrilies has the Matt and Jack once more. Picked up at least 2, so opens up a bit of advantage here in this singles match. And indeed, it was 3, so 17-13 it is now. Merrilies leading Curtin, Southland leading Wellington. Wellington, the only centre to still be in action in both the men's and women's at these 2021 National Intercentre Championships.
So Jack's been delivered a metre low of the 2 metre mark. Craig Merrilies, Southland now leading 17-13, 17-13 in this race to 25. And that pairs now, Brendan, all locked up 15 all.
Yeah,
the Wellington
it is
Southland
indeed.
pairs.
So they scored a 3, did Baggery, Howley and Mason on the last end. So 14 ends played, and it's 15 apiece in the pairs. So looking more and more promising for Southland. They lead in 2 and are now level in the pairs.
The Auckland singles game now, the Jamie Hill game, I can tell it's 23-22 now to Jamie Hill.
It's going the distance, isn't it?
And 7-4 to Wairarapa in the 4s. And Michael Galloway leading 21-11 after 15. So that Auckland Wairarapa game is
no
still
points on the board as of yet.
anyone's game.
Yeah. No, who's going to be the first in either semi-final to give their centre the upper hand? Currently, it looks like it will be Galloway and Grantham, who have that big lead in their pairs contest, but all the other matches incredibly close.
So Craig Merrilies just draws alongside the Jack after the first bowl was short. And response from Seamus Curtin was just in behind there, so Curtin now needs to get back into his work. 17-13, Southland leading. As you watch this bowl, this same as Curtin's trying to get inside to the Craig Merrilies bowls. Are going to sit on the outside of it. Yes, it does. Just sits on the outside of the bowl. So Merrilies endeavoured to draw out to where what is the second shot bowl of Seamus Curtin. He can sit on that. He can certainly make 2 shots of it. So here's Craig Merrilies. Break back now the bowl and should sit inside that of the Seamus Curtin bowl. Yes, it will. Needs to fall in though. So Curtin is endeavour to reach up to those bowls.
Yeah, just the one signal by the market at Seamus Curtin that he's down on the head.
I can tell you, but there's just been a change that Auckland Fours game. Now 7-all after 10. 7-all after 10 of 15. As Curtin endeavouring to play to the shot bowl. A jack goes by, doesn't make any connection. Craig Merrilies, I'm sure he may well, knowing he's got shot, and this is where you start to look overall at the scoreboards, he may well endeavour to get in behind here, knowing that Seamus Curtin is going to attack, and if he is fortunate enough to get the jack, it's a 2-shot result for Seamus Curtin.
Yeah, and that's the best Curtin's had on any end, isn't it? A 2. He hasn't scored any big numbers. I think he may have actually scored in more ends than Merrilies overall.
Because of the number of singles he got in that mid-patch. As Craig Merrilies, as we said, trying to get right deep down to get the backest bowl, and does. So it's literally now only a 1-shot result on the movement of the jack, which I'm sure we will see Seamus Curtin endeavour to do on that backhand, try and reach down to the shot bowl or the jack movement option for the Wellington singles player. It's got a better line than his last bowl. This is close to getting that result, Brendan, that we spoke about.
Unfortunately this time the luck seems to have turned to Merrilies' favour. This time good bowl, not far away from being perfect for Curtin, but he's unable to dislodge the shot bowl, just rocks it. So one more to Merrilies, 18-13. He now leads 7 shots away, Merrilies, in this singles contest.
I just saw big applause from the Auckland supporters behind the Jamie Hill rink. He was at 1 down playing his last bowl and had centimetres to draw the shot and drew a toucher to take him now to 24. All but the 1 shot.
Now you know how difficult that last shot can be, though.
You can wait a long time.
And it's not like Scott McKenzie's far away, the singles player for Wairarapa. He's on 22, so
he's only 1 end away from going out as well. So
yeah.
So Jack's been delivered, just right on the 2 metre mark, and now 18-13. Brendan, it's starting to get a bit of a, although ends don't count, but it's a nice little buffer to have.
Well, it certainly is, and knowing that you've managed to contain Curtin to scoring any big numbers, so I mean, Curtin's going to really have to work to get back at this deficit.
We spoke before when Seamus Curtin was 12-6 down, and he scored all those singles, in fact, to get to 13 all. But a 3, a 1 and a 1, whereas, as you rightly said before, all Seamus Curtin has been, Merrilies has restricted him to singles literally all down the board.
And Merrilies scored a 4 to go 12-6 up. He scored a couple, 3 2s, as well as the 3 he had on the end just a couple ago, where it's only been 2 2s for Curtins. Otherwise, all the remaining 9 he scored have all been in singles.
So again, Craig Merrilies plays his first. It's right on the centre line, just lower the jack. And Seamus Curtin trying to get past that bowl, which he'll duly do, and draws right down to the jack and is going to sit right on that centre line, right in front of the jack. Good bowl from the Wellington singles player. Just sits.
That's what he needed. He needed to be the first to the jack, didn't he? Still an opening though for Merrilies. He can better that bowl, but It's all about being first to the jack in these singles match-up, especially this between these two. As we see, high five on the rink alongside between Elliot Mason and Sheldon Bagri-Howley, the Southland pair.
Here from, not quite, Craig Murley sits on the bowl of... Now we've got an interesting situation right down in front of us right here too, by the way, Brendan, because 24-22, Jamie Hill leading. He's 2 down on the head right here and really got nothing within a couple of metres as he plays his third bowl. So this is when things really start to change around.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date with that as well as we bring you. This one is another good bowl from Seamus Curtin. He's just going to sit on the previous bowl of Merrilees. Look at those 4 bowls, all on the centre line from Curtin, and Merrilees just short of the jack. And Merrilees just asking for a bit of a guide from the marker whether there is space and behind those bowls to get to the jack, and there is.
And all 4 bowls sitting right directly on that centre line. So Craig Murley's, as Brendan said, asking the question, can he get down to, is there room to get down to the shot bowl?
And now this looks pretty handy. They're just going to slide by. No, it touches the jack.
Touch it right.
And coming along on the
bowl.
rink alongside Sheldon Bagri-Howley, and they share a low 5. A big moment. Bagri-Howley was celebrating just moments ago. We'll wait and check the scoreboard in the Peers contest. And the 4s, it is Southland 10-7.
Is Curtin. He may, not sure, man. Well, here's a, what do you play here, Brenton? There's only one bowl that Seamus Curtin's got on the head.
Oh, he's in a strong position here, Merrily. He's holding shot. If he plays aggressively, he can maybe dislodge that Curtin bowl, maybe hold 4, and then ask Curtin to try and draw, really, just to cut it to 1.
Scott McKenzie here trying to play a Jamie Hill bowl out of the head for game. And does.
Wow, so Scott McKenzie has got the first point on the board in our semi-finals. And that's a great comeback against Jamie Hill. Scott McKenzie showing his class. Of course, we saw him in our live stream yesterday. Scott McKenzie, a contrasting performance today, really had to work for it. 25-24. He takes that out. So Waiata Rapa, the Cinderella story, have the first point on the board in our semi-finals of these 2021 National Intercentre Championships. As Merrilees just goes past the head with his fourth on the forehand side, as now Curtin will make his way to the mat, but advantage Waiata Rapa, and they're level in the 4s.
Jamie Hill was holding the win.
They're down 20-13 in the Peers, but they have that first point on the board, and they win one of the next 2 matches. They're into the final, Kevin. What a story that is. It is already an incredible story that they made it to the quarterfinals, let alone the semi-finals.
Some very happy Waiata people sat in front of us here, and it's all come down to that 4s game. Seamus Curtin now on the mat playing his last bowl. You see the old hand go out. So is he 1 or 2 down, Brendan?
Yeah, I think it's just the 1, certainly by the look of our picture, but what a result. First up for Waiata Rapa, and now they need just 1 of the next 2, either the Peers or the 4s, to upset this really powerhouse Auckland side. Yeah, there's no household names in the Waiata Rapa 7, with all due respect, and
certainly not.
And in the Auckland side, when you've got Jamie Hill, international, Tony Grantham, former international, Mike Galloway, former international, Gary Lawson, current international, Jordan King, who's been a member of development squads. Then you've got Aidan Takarua and Rory Soden,
been a member of the New Zealand development.
2 very good up-and-coming players. It would be quite some turn-up if Waiata Rapa are able to pull it off. They've got the first point. Can they get another. There's yet to be a point scored in our feature semi-final between Southland and Wellington. Southland up in all three contests, though, the singles, the pairs and the fours. 10-7 they lead in the fours. 17-15 they lead in the pairs. And, of course, it is 19-13 here. Craig Merrill's leading Seamus Curtin in the singles.
That bowl we just saw Scott McKenzie play it in front of us. That was a magnificent bowl. Game down and had one bowl ready to get to and moved the Jamie Hill bowl out of the head and didn't touch anything else. And that's it, 3 shots. So back to this feature match, 19-13. Craig Merrill's of Southland leading Seamus Curtin of Wellington and draws his first bowl. Jack level. We've seen, got back to 13 all, did Seamus Curtin, then we've seen a 1, a 3 and two other singles, which takes now Craig Merrill's to that 19-13 lead.
Yeah, looking good for Southland. Who would have potentially picked this? Southland wired up a final before this National Intercentre.
Well, I can tell you 11 ends gone now in the fours match between Auckland and Wairarapa, and it is Wairarapa that are leading 8 shots to 7. That's the Gary Murawai skip side versus Gary Lawson, and it is 8-7. So very tight, very, very tight game. The Piers is going to go in the way of Auckland.
Yeah, Auckland will be scoring very shortly. They lead by 6 and they're playing the 18th
they're
and
playing
final
the last end now, so that's going to go in favour of Auckland, as we see now. Seamus Curtin
minor miracle.
Crawl towards the jack, 2 down on the head. There's Seamus Curtin.
Looking very promising for Merrill's. Not only has he got the 6-shot advantage, but Seamus Curtin lost his range as of late.
It would be incredible, really, Brent, if we would have a Wairarapa v Southland final. Now we know that Southland's got some very, very good players down there, but if it was 2 of our smaller centres, for sure, it was Southland and the Wairarapa, if they were to make their way through the finals, when we look at the powerhouses of Dunedin, Auckland, Canterbury, Nelson, all of those, there's so many centres that one would assume are going to be here on finals day.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, pretty much expecting finals day to see Auckland, Canterbury, Wellington. You expect these centres to be here. You don't expect Wairarapa, certainly, and Southland, especially when they lost one of their players, Caleb Hope, to Wellington.
See a lot of Auckland supporters sitting out here watching that Auckland men's forward side, trying to coax them into victory. And Craig Merrill is now holding 2 shots. If he gets passed around here on the dead draw, could well be holding 3. He is holding 3. Now, this is a big end here now, Brendan. 19-13. Seamus Curtin hasn't got a bowl within 1.5 metres of the jack. So this is a big bowl here, because he could be looking at 22-13. You would hope that Curtin could at least get second shot here, if not shot.
Watching this one intently, following it down.
Needs to sit on the shot bowl.
If it does, he can grab shot of it. Sits on the outside. Maybe enough for second, though. Has that limited the damage to just 1? Was it still 2 to Merrill's? They make their way to the head.
Definitely 1, isn't it?
1's taken out. Might be 2, maybe it's just the 1.
Just the 1.
So 20-13.
There was a big save there from Seamus Curtin, because he was certainly 3 down.
Piers, Southland now leading 19-15, just 2 ends to play, so looking pretty good for Southland and the Piers as it is here in the singles, and I believe they still lead in the fours as well.
So Craig Merrill's Jack's been delivered, leading 20 shots to 13 in the race to 25. Ends don't count, no time limit. And we're seeing in the Wairarapa Auckland game, it's going to be one apiece after we saw the boil over, really, when we saw the continued good form of Scott McKenzie defeating Jamie Hill 25-24 with Jamie Hill holding the win and Scott McKenzie dislodging the shot bowl and scoring a 3 to take him to 25 and tie it all up with Wairarapa going to be down in the pairs and the fours. It's 8-7 to Wairarapa after 11 of the 15 ends. There's Craig Merrilees now trying to maintain that first bowl effectiveness, which he's done over these last 5 ends. And he's going to do it again here, just going to sit in behind the jack right on the centre line. You'll see falls over just a few centimetres behind the jack, and straight away, Brenton, we're seeing that the difference that it can make with that getting that first bowl effectiveness.
We're all tied up in the other semi-final. They're shaking hands in the pairs between Auckland and Wairarapa. That going the way of the Auckland combination of Mike Galloway and Tony Grantham beating John Clayton and Gary Caffel. So it's one apiece in the other semi-final. Now it all hinges on the fours between Auckland and Wairarapa. And all 3 disciplines have yet to be decided in our feature semi-final between Southland and Wellington, but Southland are leading all 3.
Seamus Curtin just rocks on the shot bowl of Craig Merrilees between the jack and the shot bowl. So Merrilees now endeavour to draw another shot on that backhand side. So here's Craig Merrilees now on his backhand, definitely holding one. Looks as though it's going to be under the centre line, and is, and falls well lower the jack. He'll be disappointed with that. And Seamus Curtin was very close with his first bowl, trying to get down to the shot bowl or a touch on the jack. And a good attempt here again from the Wellington singles player as it just crawls towards the jack, not quite going to do so. Just falls lower the jack. Craig Merrilees be holding one.
I've got some updates from the women's semi-finals in the Nelson-Wellington contest. In the fours, it's Wellington leading 13-11 after 13 of the 15 ends. The pairs going Nelson's way, 11-6 after 12 of the 18 ends. And the singles going Wellington's way over Nelson, 20-16. All very close, though, and can go either way. And in the other semi-final, it is Dunedin in the pairs, leading Canterbury 15-12 after 14 of the 18 ends. They're also leading the singles, 17-14 in the race to 25. And the fours are going Canterbury's way, but only just 13-12 after 10 of the 15 ends. So very tight. And that semi-final, they are the women's semi-finals, which are also taking place here at the Wilton Bowling Club at the upper green, while the men's semi-finals taking place here at the broadcast green, the Otari bottom green here at the Wilton Bowling Club, both amongst this beautiful park-like setting.
Seamus Curtin down on the head and endeavouring to get down to the shot bowl or the jack. Craig Merrilees' bowl, you'll see it there, and behind the head, it's certainly the shot. Craig Merrilees now will play his last bowl. You want to try and get another bowl on the head. Although there's not many scoring options for Seamus Curtin, really. Turn his own bowl on, sit the shot bowl. And it's going to just go by his own bowl. Might see a wee bit of weight here from Seamus Curtin, because he's certainly got second and a third shot, Brendan. You might try and tighten that line down through there to get to the shot bowl.
So we're reaching the deciding stages of this semi-final. We're playing the penultimate end in both the fours and the pairs. And obviously Craig Merrilies is 5 away here. Playing with weight is Curtin.
Got the ball
and
clean.
He got the ball clean. So it should be 1 to Curtin. Maybe 2. Maybe it might be a measure for second here. That big bowl that from Curtin to stop that run from Merrilies. Merrilies had scored on the last 5 ends.
Certainly the shot to play, right shot choice, right shot selection there from Seamus Curtin, playing with lots of weight. You see the mat again being pulled quite a distance up the green.
Yeah, it was 2, so 20 to 15. So after Merrilies has scored the last 7, Curtin tightens it up somewhat. 20 to 15 it is now. Southlander, Craig Merrilies leading Wellington's Seamus Curtin. They're playing now the last end in the pairs alongside. And that is 21-15. You see the scoreboard there to Southland. So Southland pretty much all but have the first point on the board by way of the pairs. So that just puts more pressure on Curtin, doesn't it?
Certainly is. Big pressure now.
Knowing his match he has to count on.
Curtin sits in behind the jack right on the centre line. Jack's on the 2 metre mark. And as we said, the mat has been pulled up fractionally, or quite a distance in fact. It's been pulled up.
And if you've just joined us as well, and the other semi-final taking place down here on the Otari Green, it is 1 apiece between Wairarapa and Auckland. And Wairarapa won the singles, Auckland won the pairs.
I can tell you it is now 8-all after 12 ends in the fours between Auckland and Wairarapa. There's 1 to go up on the board for Auckland.
Yep.
8-all after 12 of 15 ends.
So that is going to go right down to the wire. The fours to decide that semi-finalists from the bottom half of the draw. We're trying to decide who gets through from the top half.
Well, I could look. Southland are a good performing centre, but I can never remember them being in a final, Brendan. I stand to be corrected, but it would be a long time ago. It would be way, way back in the days of the Bill Canes. It would be a long, long time ago since Southland, I'd say, blessed the finals, and of course Wairarapa have never done so. So this could be a fairy tale day for sure.
Well, it's a fairy tale, just that Wairarapa are here full stop, isn't it?
It is, definitely is. And
you were mentioning they didn't even have accommodation booked for last night.
Merrilies putting more pressure on, draws a toucher, draws across the head, sits right on top of the jack, leading 20 shots to 15. Curtin now can play to reach with weight. He's certainly got the advantage of having the deepest bowl on the green. He can reach down to that bowl.
Yeah, that time Merrilies gets a toucher and it's the shot. A few times he's got touches, but he hasn't got the rub of the green. And the shot has gone Curtin's way.
Because the other remarkable thing about that Wairarapa side, leading in the fours for the Wairarapa side, Gavin Hamlin, has been playing bowls 3 months, first time ever. He's played for Wairarapa in this event, his first representative debut, a professional golfer, and here he is playing the semi-final of the New Zealand Intercentre and playing in a game which is going to decide who gets through to the final.
Yeah, quite some story. Yeah, firstly, just to represent your centre after just 3 months of playing bowls, but then to play a big role in your centre making its first appearance in the quarterfinals, and now a chance to make it through to the final as Merrilies comes under the line and slightly short.
Well, it certainly makes the shot options harder now for Seamus Curtin, because
does block up that backhand.
Tighten that line up to that weight to the shot bowl. And of course, he's certainly got the advantage there of having, the 3 bowls over the head, so he'll be desperate to try and get some contact onto that shot bowl to get some jack movement, because it certainly would give the Wellingtonian, give him some opportunity to score, that's for sure. So, going to reach all right with a lot of weight is Curtin. Here it is on its way, trying to get to the shot bowl clean. Got the jack. Yeah, need to see what happened.
That was a toucher, wasn't it? It's in the ditch, I believe, and the touch has gone into the ditch with it, but obviously it'll count because Muraley's got a piece of the jack earlier on, so it'll be one, you'd think, depending where the jack is. Oh, it looks like there's the marker just to the...
Just out to the side, if that's the spot where it is, definitely...
Yeah, he's just moved it.
Yeah, that's Craig Muraley's bowl, which is definitely shot.
And that bowl in the ditch is probably, a metre maybe away from the jack. So he's got to try and draw within that. Muraley's will try and do exactly that to make it 2.
This is Alex on the water run.
Oh, man of many talents. Thank you very much, Alex Reid. So the chart room of the National Intercentre, helping me with some scores from around the boards, and now Water Boy as well.
So Craig Muraley's make 2 of it. No, he won't. Definitely got the 1 with the jack in the ditch and his shot bowl.
So Muraley's grabs that mat back, and he's a shot closer to that target, 25. They'll be shaking hands very shortly in the pairs, which is Southland leading by 6, playing the 18th and final end. So, barring an absolute miracle, it'll be Southland claiming the first point of this semi-final, as Muraley's
jack's been delivered.
Yeah, rolls into the ditch. Is that the first time we've seen that?
Second time now. So now it's the same as Curtin. That'll bring the mat up, which he duly has done. And we'll endeavour to get the jack down to the 2 metre mark.
In the 4s, Southland leading 10-8. 1 bowl to play on the penultimate end, the 14th end of 15.
And Craig, and it's he that, same as Curtin, didn't get to that 2 metre mark where he wanted to get to.
And you might have heard some anguish that was from the Southland 4, being almost perfect. Well, it was Shane Elliott and grabbing a shot for Southland, but it's 1 to Wellington, so 10-9. 1 end to play in the 4s.
Well, you know the pairs is literally gone, haven't you? And that, so now it comes down to these other 2.
It's all going to come down to the singles match, you get the feeling, doesn't it?
Well, Andrew, see the Craig Muraley's another good opening bowl, sits just literally jack level, jack on the 2 metre mark. And of course, there's singles, the 4s match, of course, the big one, Wairapa v Auckland. That too is anybody's game, and the winner of that will certainly be in the final after Auckland, the Mike Galloway skip side, victorious in the pairs. And we saw the Scott McKenzie defeat Jamie Hill 25-24. So it's certainly anybody's game here in both of these semi-finals. Craig Muraley's definitely holding the shot here, leading 21-15. And in the Auckland game, Auckland 4's game, they're playing in 13. So there's still a couple more ends to go. As we see this bowler, Craig Muraley's come back towards the 2 metre line. Just by it, sits on the centre line. He'll be happy with those 2 bowls.
Yeah, so we'll know what will have happened in the 4s and the pairs in our semi-final by the time we find out what's happening in the 4s in the Auckland Wairarapa semi-final, and no doubt the way this is going, this singles contest could still be ongoing unless Merrilees, who's made a strong start here,
early pressure here, Brendan,
can pick up a big number.
So Craig Merrilees definitely holding 2 shots. Early pressure for sure. And Merrilees can make 3 of it. And he's certainly out on the safe draw line, that's for sure, as it comes back down past the centre line now, but looks as though it looks to have too much weight, or is it going to stay up on that? And no, rolls into the ditch. You'll see it's disappeared into the ditch. The marker picks it up, and that's shake hands time, I think, in the pairs, correct?
Yeah, it looks like it. So Southland on the board first.
The same as Curtin now, really trying to keep Wellington alive in this semi-final, trying to get down to the jack, to the shot bowl, just going to fall low of it.
Oh, just a half a foot of weight short, really, of what he wanted to be. He wanted to grab shot. But it is indeed Southland on the board first. So Sheldon Baggery-Howley and Elliot Mason beating Ray Martin and Adam Turner in the pairs. So Southland now 1 away. Will it be coming here in the 4s? They do lead by 1, and they're playing the 15th and final end. 10-9 they lead in the 4s. Will it come down to this singles game we are bringing to you between Craig Merrilees and Seamus Curtin?
I can tell you, and that means in the 4s, still 3 bowls to come, but Auckland, in fact, are holding 5 shots. 2 bowler Jordan Kings, 2 bowls of Aidan Takara, and a bowl of Rory Sodins. So I'm sure we'll see Gary Murawai trying to reach up to those bowls. But as we see now, Craig Merrilees leading 21-15. And Southland, as Brendan rightly said, already won the pairs. I see Murawai on the drive in there and got the jack. Now, the last thing Auckland want is for that to be alive, because if it is, they're holding 2 shots.
Fair effort here from Merrilees. We'll keep you up to date with that. Obviously, it's hard. We can see what's happening, but you can't back home. So we'll keep you up to date with what is happening in that game and the 4s between Auckland and Wairarapa to decide that semi-final. It's 1 apiece. Wairarapa winning the singles, Auckland winning the pairs. So the 4s to decide it.
We just saw a big bowl from Gary Murawai. Now we need to see a big bowl from Seamus Curtin, because again it's Southland holding the shot, and remembering Southland already got the pairs in the bag. So here's now Seamus Curtin trying to get past his own bowl to make shot of it.
I think he's interested. Has it got the weight now? And
No,
now he
hasn't.
gets disappointed. Halfway down, he thought it was good on a good line, and it was on a good line, just lacked the weight. So, 1 more to Merrilees. And he is now just 3 away, 22-15. Craig Merrilees leading Seamus Curtin in the singles. Southland have the first point on the board. For the pairs, of course, Southland took out the defending champions yesterday, beating Canterbury. Now looking to beat the host centre in Wellington, and a very strong Wellington side at that.
So Jack's been delivered by Craig Merrilees. And Gary Murawai, I see, just drawing the shot for Wairarapa. So Craig Merrilees, again with that very good opening bowl, and that's been, to me, that's been the big thing in this encounter. We've seen, just saw Wairarapa in fact pick 2 up, Brenton, on that last end.
So 2 ends to play. They lead 10-8 to the Wairarapa 4 over Gary Lawson Auckland 4. Of course, Gary Lawson, a proud Blue supporter today, I heard you say.
Yes, certainly. Yes, yes.
Turned his back on the Crusaders.
Left them. If they've walked and lose, he might change his mind very quickly.
Of course, Lawson was a member of that champion Canterbury
Absolutely, he was.
Side
2 years ago. He was. So, Craig Merrilies again, holding shot, leading 22-15. 7-shot break in this race, 2:25.
Obviously a great opportunity for Jordan King, Hayden Takarua and Roy Soden to play with Gary Lawson. 3 young talents. To have Lawson as their skip will be a great opportunity, and they'll be desperate to be in the final this afternoon.
And that Wairarapa side can long remember their bowl that Scott McKenzie played to give him the 25-24 victory over Jamie Hill. As you watch this bowl of Seamus Curtin's endeavouring to sit on the shot bowl. In fact, he'll lower the jack. And I suppose the disappointing thing for Seamus Curtin to date in this game, Brenton, is the number of short bowls that he hasn't been able to, just to get to where the consistency of the draw play of Craig Merrilies, which has been pretty consistent right throughout the game. As Craig Merrilies.
I've just seen Southland 4 miss a drive, and it would assume that Wellington are holding shot. They trailed 10-9. They're playing the 15th and final end of the 4s, and now feature semi-final. Now there's a conference meeting with Robbie Bird, Caleb Hope, Finbar McGuigan and Ben King, all meeting mid-green. As you can see, to left a shot.
10-9.
It's a huge moment in this game. I think there's 1 bowl to be played each from both skips.
Same as Curtin, doing everything to try and get the shot here to just get that hope for Wellington, and he will. Got a feather off the front bowl. Rolls it over, and that'll be shot for sure.
That's what they need. He may still have a part to play here. Seamus Curtin, if this Wellington 4's side can draw semi-final level at 1 match apiece. They trail by 1. They're playing the final end.
Another Wellington side, I can see all watching closely this bowl of Ben King's breaking in towards the head. So, another bowl to come, Brendan, isn't it?
Yep, one
to come.
Southland to play last.
Craig Merrilies making his way back to the mat, and I'm sure he'll now play with searching weight so he can get a touch on the jack. He's got the deepest bowl on the rink.
In fact, a couple of bowls left, so Ben King actually has another bowl to play. Shane Elliott with a couple for the Southland 4, playing the final end. A couple of rinks away from our live streaming rink, which is this singles contest. Merrilies in control, but currently down on the head. And he's
under
missed
the
with
head.
that.
Missed that.
So now Curtin, opportunity here.
Seamus Curtin might just wait here to the finish of this, because he's got a 4-shot chance on here, and just wait to see what happens here in this 4s encounter.
There's still a couple of bowls to play. I don't know if he can wait quite that long.
I don't think he can wait that long, as you rightly say, because there's still a bowl each to be played.
And he's just trying to focus on task at hand here.
So will he try to just move that bowl out of the head of Craig Merrilies?
Might just be trying to draw another. And it looks on the wide side. I don't think it's going to change the situation.
No,
so, is that just the 1? think it is just the one. Important one, though, for Seamus Curtin to try and stop the run. It seems a long time ago it was 13 apiece. That's just the second shot. Third shot he's managed to picked up a 2 a few ends ago, Curtin, after a run of 6 in a row from Merrilies. And we're just watching the left of the screen as well to see what's unfolding in the fours. A bolder play from each of the skips on the 15th and final end. Southland leading 10-9. We'll talk you through that as well while the singles contest unfolds, because singles could very well become a dead rubber if Southland hold on here.
So Ben King, you can see applause from the Wellington side. Come and have a look at the head to the Southland skip.
Yeah, they're going to make it so you think that Wellington are holding shot. It just depends how much they're holding is the question here.
So Jack's been delivered. So we watch his first bowl of Seamus Curtin's trailing 22 shots to 16. He's going to finish literally Jack just slightly Jack low. Merrilies. Never now to, off comes the jacket from Seamus Curtin.
Well, it's getting interesting now, isn't it?
It's interesting all around. I can tell you in that Auckland Wairarapa game, I'm sure it's Auckland holding 2 shots over there as the skips change over. 2 of Aidan Takarau's bowls, I'm sure, are the definitely Aidan Takarau bowls a shot. There's Merrilies now on the mat. Well, we're going to see a big boil over here. Wellington v Southland, Auckland v Wairarapa.
Yeah, start of the day, certainly Auckland and Wellington would have been the fancied sides that you'd be expecting to see in the semi-final, but it may well be Wairarapa Southland, and that's as it stands, that's what it will be.
Here's that last bowl, Brenton, in that fours game, the Southland Wellington encounter. So we'll know in but a moment what that's going to
deliver. They're interested. I don't think it's quite had enough, and they're shaking hands, so we can only assume that Wellington have got the job done there.
That's what I would assume.
They were down 1 playing the 15th and final end, and looks like the singles are still going to be playing, and we wouldn't still be playing, would we?
If it wasn't 2 to Wellington.
If Wellington had...
To Wellington, which
yeah, so
can assume.
We can assume that is 1 apiece now. Southland took out the pairs. Wellington have come from behind to win the fours, and now it all clinches. The script couldn't have been written better. All hinges on this singles contest between Craig Merrilies of Southland, Seamus Curtin of Wellington. So the Auckland Wairarapa semi-final is coming down to the fours, and the Southland Wellington is coming down to the singles.
With Seamus Curtin holding the shot, trailing 22-16 in this race to 25 in this all-important semi-final encounter. The winner of this, of course, will go through to play the winner of the Auckland Wairarapa game, which, again, at this point, could go any way, and that would be 2 shots.
No one has got on the board in the women's semi-finals as of 10 minutes ago. The last update received in the Nelson Wellington semi-final. Wellington leading 13-12, playing the last end of the fours and the pairs. Nelson is leading Wellington 15-9 after 15 of the 18 ends in the singles, 22-21. Wellington leading Nelson in that first to 25, so an incredibly close semi-final. The other semi-final in the women's 2021 National Intercentre, Canterbury and Dunedin. Dunedin and the pairs are leading 18-12, playing the last end. The singles, Dunedin leading 19-15, and in the fours, Canterbury leading 16-13 after 12 of the 15 ends. And we have updates when we have final scores. We will let you know.
I can tell you that in this singles game, the Seamus Curtin Craig Murley's game, with Craig Murley's leading 22 shots to 16, it is Seamus Curtin who is holding 2 shots, with Craig Murley's to play his last bowl. So ends don't matter in this race 225. So here is Murley's. He gives that.
Doesn't like that.
Doesn't like it. Saw the hit on the ground. It looks to be out on that wider side. Brenton, how far is it going to come back? It's not going to.
So is that 2?
Looks like
Certainly
2
looks
on
like
our
2.
monitor.
Could potentially even be 3. We'll let the players sort it out. No need for a measure. So we'll see if that's 2. 2 confirmed. So 22-18. Now Southland leading Wellington. Craig Merrilley's leading Seamus Curtin, but it's tightened up again. This singles match to decide whether it's Southland or Wellington through to the final of the men's national intercentre here at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington. The host centre trying to get through to the final. Was they won in 2018, did Wellington, looking to win their second title in 3 tournaments. Of course, no 2020 national intercentre because of COVID. Was supposed to be played here at the Wilton Bowling Club, so it's pretty much put back 12 months, and Wilton getting that opportunity to host the National Intercentre, which has been played over the last 4 days. Started on Thursday for a few of the sections with extra teams. Others started on Friday. Had the completion of section play yesterday, and then had the quarter-final action yesterday afternoon here at the Wilton Bowling Club, as Craig Merrilley's gets a toucher, warmly applauded by his Southland teammates here.
Gary Lawson about to play his last bowl on this, the 14th end, trailing 10-8 is Auckland, with the scores, like the match scores, 1-1. Yeah, I think it's Auckland who are holding the shot as we go into what will be this 15th end. So Seamus Curtin trying to draw to the, he does just that to the shot bowler Merrilley's, draws right alongside the jack.
Big crowd now watching around the green. Players, teammates, support staff, and local fans, of course. You've got a few interested locals come here to the Wilton Bowling Club to cheer on the home side, as you would expect.
So I can tell you, Brendan, in that Auckland game, 10-9, Wairarapa.
So Auckland scoring a 1 on the penultimate end. As what a response that is from Merrilley's toucher. This is a show that these two players are putting on now. And what is the deciding match of this semi-final? Will it be Southland or will it be Wellington in the final of the men's national intercentre?
Seamus Curtin endeavouring to play up after that superb bowl from Craig Merrilley's, where you got that touch, and definitely laying 2 shots as Curtin endeavouring to get down to that area and going to run into his zone, going to get it into the head. No, he's not. So 2 shots, I'd say, to Southland at this point.
It was a fair effort from Curtin. If he managed to just get underneath that wide bowl, could have been very interesting.
2 really close semi-finals we've got here.
Oh, this is what you want to see, isn't it? Let's hope that the final that we bring to you, they're going to have the women's final of these 2021 National Intercentre Championships for you this afternoon from around 12:30, and if the women's semi-finals are anything to go by, the final will be a close affair as well.
Craig Merrilley's Fine holding shot for sure. Remembering that Wellington won the fours, the B and King skip side. They won the fours, and the pairs was a win to Southland. Sheldon Bagley Howley combination.
We're playing an extra end in the women's semi-final between Nelson and Wellington in the fours, locked up at 13 apiece after 15. Nelson leading the pairs 15-14 after 17, and Wellington leading the singles 23-22. What a contest that is. Well, that's unbelievable. All three, only a shot at most between the two sides. Dunedin Canterbury pairs going Dunedin's way 18-12. They're playing the last, so Dunedin should pick up that point there. They are also leading the singles 22-16, but Canterbury are leading the fours 19-13 with 2 ends to play.
Well, Dunedin looking, promising for Dunedin. And this is what makes Brendan, the Intercentre, makes it such a fantastic event, to see all these centres here, and if someone had said, right, here we are on finals day, and we've got Southland, Wairarapa, Dunedin, perhaps in the women, the powerhouses of Wellington and Canterbury, Auckland, and they're all struggling.
Yeah, well, Auckland, the defending champions in the women, not even getting out of section play. Yeah, the defending champions for the men, Canterbury, knocked out by the Southland side yesterday. Now Southland looking to continue their run, knock out the hosts in Wellington. As it stands, the singles, Merrilies with the advantage, playing that last bowl of this end.
Leading 22-18 and holding the shot, as Brendan said.
I don't think it's going to come back from
not
out there.
Is it 1? Is it 2?
Well, it certainly looks like 2, doesn't it? 2 would put him 1 shot away.
And a place in the final beckons for Southland.
Merrilies.
In one end, or the completion of an end, does it put Wairarapa into the final?
Yep, playing the last end in the fours between Wairarapa and Auckland in the deciding match of their semi-final. Wairarapa leading by a shot, small centre leading the powerhouse Auckland centre.
And holding the shot as well, Brenton, over here in this last end.
And doing it with a lead who's only played the sport for 3 months. Amazing.
So we'll just wait for that scoreboard to change. We're pretty confident that it was 2 to Southland to take Craig Merrilies to all but.
And the marker making his way to the board and doing just that and confirming 24-18. A 6-shot lead, but most importantly, 1 away from sending Southland through to this afternoon's final of the 2021 National Intercentre Championships here at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington. And a start from Craig Merrilies as well.
Well, we've seen that so consistently throughout this game, Brendan, and that's why he's been able to keep Seamus Curtin really to ones, to only low scoring opportunities, and it's because of that, the coaches always look at that effectiveness of bowls, effective bowls, and their first bowl effective bowls which he's delivered. Remembering yesterday, Craig Merrilies defeated Andrew Kelly 25 shots to 12. So,
cleaned him up.
So he's certainly on form, no question about that. And
it's going to be a great matchup between himself and Scott McKenzie, if that's the way it goes, or between him and Jamie Hill. It'll be a great contest either way, whichever way it goes in the other semi-final between Wairarapa and Auckland. Merrilies looking to shut the door here on Seamus Curtin.
And book a spot for Southland in the final to be played later on, or to be played around about 12:30. I think that will get underway.
Yeah, all going well. Obviously those women's semi-finals going down to the wire. We'll be broadcasting the women's final for you. Seamus Curtin comes around his first bowl, finds a pretty good home. That falls in. They'll be shot.
That shot come around the front bowl, as Brendan said, and sat right into that centre line. Now, Merrilees on the forehand. Trying to get down to that shot bowl.
It's just going to come in behind though.
Oh, he'll be okay with that.
Yeah, just along near the 2 metre mark. Good home. Of course, really all the pressure is on Curtin. Can't afford any slip up, but Merrilees one away from sending Southland into the final. Good second shot. And trying to add a second to the count here. Is he going to get around his first bowl?
How far is he going to push his other bowl into the
promotes
head?
it. I don't think that will change the situation. Should just still be the one. Craig Merrilees is going to go have a look though. And why not? Important part of this contest. His last bowl to play on this end, and he's one away. Just having a look to see if it has changed. That little promotion of the short bowl of Curtin, whether has it made it 2. And he's also just trying to work out how can I turn this head in my favour. He'll want something else in the area, won't they? Because if he doesn't, then Curtin does have the option, or he'll try anyway, get rid of what is at the moment the lone Merrilees bowl, and he could potentially turn this into 4, and that would make it very interesting. Yeah, exactly.
It can't come to any, same as Curtin, can't come to any damage at all. It's a safe shot for him to play.
We'll see if it's on though after Merrilees plays his last.
And in the Auckland Wairarapa game, I can tell you that there is 1 bowl left to come from Gary Lawson and 2 from Gary Murawai. So who knows what's going to happen there. I think it's Auckland holding 1 shot as we watch this bowl of Craig Merrilees go by.
Yeah, what he wanted, because now that option is open.
Certainly is option, and I can see Seamus Curtin talking to the Wellington, talking
Mike
to
Carroll
Mike Carroll there on the sideline.
Adam Turner having a bit of a chat.
Because that option is there for him.
Mike Carroll, either the coach, I think, or the manager of the Wellington men's Intercentre team.
So here's Seamus Curtin. As Brendan rightly said, that shot is certainly on. A roll into the bowl. He can make the Merrilees bowl. He can make 2 of it.
Could potentially even make 4 of it.
4 of it, sorry, with that full turn on the bowl. Not going
well
to
under.
that. Well under.
Had the weight to maybe get rid of that bowl, but did not have the right line.
Did that bowl get enough turn on it when he ran into
question.
it?
So Merrilees had a little look at the head initially. So 1 to Curtin, and now he's just having a little think about where he plays the mat.
Big deliberations going on in the Auckland game over here as well. I don't know what the story is there, other than it's Wairarapa who are leading 10-9 after 14 of the 15.
This is 24-19, so Merrilees still 1 away. Curtin has to just keep winning ends to keep Wellington in this contest. And he's got the mat and the jack this time, so he can dictate the length, and he's the first to play, so he can try and win the race to the jack. There's been a number of good bowls from these 2 players, good draws. This time finishing well short though. Kicks the air in frustration, Curtin.
He'd be disappointed with that.
Not up to the high standards we've seen from these 2, and the high standards that Curtin needs to deny Merrilees, who in particular has been very consistent.
Interesting, Brendan, I just saw Gary Lawson play his last bowl and play right to the back of the head, indicating possibly that Auckland may be holding 2 shots on the head with 1 bowl to come, which of course would give them Gary Murawai. It certainly looks, he's looking at options here, is Murawai, so that would lead to think that Auckland are holding the 2 shots to give them a spot in the final with 1 bowl to come.
Yeah, to break Wide Upper hearts, haven't they? Because they have been
it would
the
certainly
Cinderella
break
story.
their hearts, Brendan, because by goodness, what a fight they've put up. Seamus Curtin there, just going to come into his own bowl, finishes lower the jack, plenty of just a shot, but plenty of room for Merrilies, of course, only wanting the 1 to go out and to give Wairarapa, to give Southland, that spot in the final this afternoon. And Craig Merrilies has been very consistent throughout on the forehand, trying to get through the port of these 2 low bowls to get down to the jack, and he's not far away. He's not far away.
He's right on target.
Look at that, a front toucher, and moves the jack. What a bowl.
Yeah, what a bowl indeed, and that's what we've come to expect from Merrilies today. And really, that puts a lot of pressure on Curtin. He knows Merrilies just 1 away in this singles match and 1 away from putting Southland into the final. Playing with weight, doesn't like this. May get rid of the back bowl, no. Gets nothing, and you straight away it wasn't on target.
I know we're not into the game's not concluded, of course, Brenton, but one's got to take the hat off to the consistency that Craig Merrilies has shown throughout this game. And remembering, of course, he did beat Andrew Kelly yesterday, and he certainly has been. You can just look at the scoring of Seamus Curtin. He just hasn't been able to build heads to get a good start. And the first bowl effectiveness, which I've mentioned so many times, has been really, to me, the telling point which Craig Merrilies has delivered to this semi-final singles match.
Yeah, it certainly has. Now playing for a bit of cover, knowing that Curtin will no doubt play with weight again.
So I'll
with
leave
what
you
is
here
now
with Brendan,
the final bowl for Curtin, unless he's able to hit the target.
And the
Merrilies
final
holding
bowl over here for Gary Murawai as well. So it's all on here.
Playing with weight. He's more interested this time. Has he got the target? Yes, he does. But unfortunately, into the ditch has gone Merrilies' bowl, and it's shake hands time, and Craig Merrilies has beaten Seamus Curtin in the singles and sent Southland through this afternoon's final of the men's national Intercentre. And happening just in front of us is the last bowl, potentially, of the fours game between Wairarapa and
Doesn't
Auckland.
like it, Gary Murawai, I can assure
Turns
you.
his back on it, doesn't he? And what has that meant? It's shake hands time. We can only assume that is Auckland, who have broken Wairarapa's hearts. The Cinderella story comes to an end. Auckland, the powerhouse centre, they are through to face Southland. So finishing within seconds of each other, we have our 2 finalists, both winning in dramatic circumstances. Southland taking down the host centre Wellington, with Craig Merrilies winning the singles against Seamus Curtin after Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Elliot Mason had won the pairs. The fours went the way of Wellington, though. Ben King, Finbar McGuigan, Caleb Hope and Robbie Bird. But Merrilies winning the deciding singles for the Southlanders, and then the Aucklanders winning the fours. Trailing 10-9, playing the last, but winning the last end to claim that semi-final. That was after they won the pairs but lost the singles. So it'll be Southland up against Auckland in the semi-final, and we've not yet found our finalists in the women's Intercentre, which we will be bringing to you this afternoon. So make sure you join us here on Sky Sport Next from around 12:30, when we will firstly know who our 2 finalists are, and then we'll bring you action from that final. Well, that concludes our semi-final coverage. We hope you have enjoyed it. We'll be back later this afternoon here from the Wilson Bowling Club in Wellington.